How do you like your eggs in the morning? I like mine with a kiss. Ladies, gentlemen, and variations thereupon, this is Modern Escapism. Hello, my name is Easter Oodles, and may I speak to you all about our Lord and Saviour, Jesus Christo. Joining me today, my acolytes and clergymen, the Right Honourable Reverend of the Holy Roman Empire, it's Stig. He's eating.
Oh, eating on pod, bad form.
Hello, sorry. I was eating a crisp and I forgot to unmute. Hi, it's me. I'm Stig. I'm here.
Also, the sister of the Holy Cross and Archbishop of Banterbury, it's Candy.
Hello. To answer your question, I like my eggs in a cake in the morning.
Okay.
Excellent choice.
Stop eating.
Yes, stop eating. And the Imperial Magistrate of the Church of Satanic Flagellation, it's Gadget.
Blood for the blood god.
And unfortunately, Reverend Biggie can't be with us today. He has the shits.
He's always got the shits. He's had it's that went too hard at the Biggies, didn't he?
He did.
He went too hard and for too long. How is everyone doing this week? How's your Easter?
It's been
Fine.
It's been nice and chill. I've been enjoying some fucking nice weather for a change. I'm sick of it being bloody rainy.
It's
It's nice
chucking
now
it
the
down
clocks
here.
have changed.
Went on a bike ride with Amelia. And then today went on a nice walk. The girls took the bikes again. Good. Nice weather.
Yeah. Will you stop eating, Stig?
No, I was muted.
I can see you eating and I'm hungry.
Me too. What are you actually eating? Because it looks good.
Crisps. That's all he ever
Crisps.
eats.
It's a crisp sandwich.
That's all he fucking lives on. 90% crisp.
Genuinely,
that
no, I don't. I hardly ever eat crisps. It's just that I had not eaten anything, and I was like, "Fuck," just threw it together.
Well,
There was
I'm
a-
on the champagne again because of Jesus.
There was a bun in the cupboard, so I threw some crisps in it.
Is it because of Jesus Easter? Sorry, I'm confused.
Yes, it's when he died and was resurrected several days later.
He's a zombie.
It's a really
Handing
long
out all the
respawn
chocolate
time.
eggs.
That's what Biggie does every
I had
couple
a
of weeks.
caramel.
Yeah.
Have you had these caramel Easter eggs? They're very good.
No, I've got
Bloody good.
a Kit Kat chunky one downstairs that I haven't broken into yet. I'm going to have that after the pod.
Yeah. Oh,
I ate my Easter
punch
egg
it
last
first.
week.
Can I ask a question before we get onto the news? Your Easter eggs, do you put them in the fridge like I do?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Put them in the fridge. Put them in the fridge, and then when they're all nice and hard, and you drop them, and they go
Punch it.
poof.
No,
you punch it,
I
you punch
can't.
it.
I can't abide snappy chocolate. It has to be a bit
Anything
melty.
good.
No, you're wrong.
I'm with
mini
Candy.
chocolate. No, you two are fucking wrong. And
It should never. No, because when it's too cold, it gets sweaty, doesn't it? Chocolate. No, you got to have it melt in your mouth. That's why like McFlurries are a bit shit. Like it might as well just not have chocolate in it.
no, because it melts
bad
in your mouth.
etiquette.
It's miles better from the fridge, and then it melts
Way
in your
better.
mouth as it. Yeah.
It doesn't melt in my
I-
mouth.
I've
It makes
got-
my
I've
mouth
got-
cold.
I've got a Lindor gold bunny in the fridge.
Why are
waiting
you
for me
always
to
wrong,
punch.
Candy?
No, I'm not. I think you're wrong.
Speaking
It makes
of
me sad
wrong-uns.
people put chocolate in the fridge. Just no.
Yeah.
Speaking of wrong-uns.
Actually,
Not here today. Oh, go on. Bloody hell. I'm trying to segue and I can't.
No,
it's
you can't
Easter.
because everyone who writes in, just next week, chocolate in the fridge, yes or no?
Yeah. Yeah,
Put it on your
fridge or not.
feedback. Send it in. Just even if you don't write in regularly, just say in chocolate in the fridge, yes or no.
Also, I
And
haven't had
also,
any Easter eggs, so if our listeners want to send me Easter eggs, you can send it to my tattoo shop. That would be great, and I won't put it in the fridge.
Also,
Just
add to the
go
end
and
of
get them
that.
tomorrow when they're all discounted because they're really fucking expensive this year.
I want
Yeah, they'll
someone
be
to
cheap.
buy them for me.
At the end of that email as well, our correspondence, put pizza handles, yay or nay, as well. Just to, you know what I mean? Right?
We've already discussed that. I think
Yeah.
it's like Candy and two other people.
Yeah, that's true.
The two
Anyway.
people.
Speaking of interrupting twats, Biggie's not here today. So, who's going to do Biggie's breaking news?
You may already know, but he doesn't, because it's time for Biggie's Breaking News.
I'll do the news. I ain't got a song though, because by the time we found out it wasn't coming on, I couldn't be asked to do one, so I'm sorry.
And
listeners.
you keep fucking eating, so you've got food in your mouth.
No, I'm fine though. But yeah, I haven't got a song. Sorry. It's the news! There you go.
That's the best one. It's the best one we've had. The jazz hands just made that.
Right. First up, gaming. Xbox planning to release the majority of its exclusives on PS5.
Womp womp.
According to gamesindustry.biz, well-connected Christopher Dring, there's much more to come. From what I understand, the majority of Xbox first-party games will be coming to PS5 at some point, assuming it progresses as Xbox believes it probably will. He said on a podcast, I think Xbox is in real trouble as a hardware manufacturer, and that's the thing that came out of GDC for me. Yeah, I think he's right. Like the Xbox sales haven't been great.
They losing.
Well, they're focusing on the software out there, pushing it on PC, pushing it on
Who'd
like
have
TVs.
thought
pushing
a company
it
called
on.
Microsoft would be focusing on software? They should have just stuck with that all along. Software.
I mean, the Xbox consoles
good
have
at
been
that.
universally great. I mean, the Series X is still fantastic.
The original Xbox wasn't good.
It was great for its time. It's just no, it wasn't. It was just massive. Could kill a deer with it.
360 was
bet it was-
360 was the goat. That was the
It was
goat.
better than the PS2, and the 360 was better than the PS3.
Yeah,
Just
just the Xbox One where they kind of
I
shut
don't
the
think the
bed.
original Xbox is better than the PS2. I mean, graphically and power-wise, it is.
yeah, that's
but
what I mean.
Yeah,
but like it
and
was,
it had-
it was already behind the generation by a few
The
years.
fucking
at that point.
GameCube were better than the PS2, maybe. It didn't win, did it?
It also, you know, it had a hard drive. It had like a modem connected to it. So like, you know, it came out the gate with a lot of stuff that beat it over the PlayStation. The PlayStation had the library.
Yeah,
That's where it counts, baby. And that's why Microsoft are going to PlayStation.
I think I still think what Microsoft
their
are going to end
library.
up doing is they'll still have a hardware thing because like the controllers are fucking fantastic. But I think they'll probably as kind of global internet connections get better, I think they'll probably end up doing almost like a Chromecast thing as their hardware where you pay like 90 quid for something.
I predicted that 2 years ago on this show.
Plug it into your telly and then hook up to Game Pass that way.
I'll fucking get one, me. I'd absolutely get one of them.
If it's like under 100 quid, of course you would with a controller.
Yeah,
Don't most
all
companies-
my current gen Xbox in has been on their live service, which I find impeccable. It's flawless, their streaming service. I've always given props for that. It's flawless. I've never had an issue with it.
So most companies sell their hardware at a loss anyway.
Yeah, normally, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't.
So
They,
they're probably rubbing their hands together. Like,
they don't,
it
Probably.
just does not matter.
they don't tend to
Yeah,
make a profit on
true.
the hardware until like the last 2 years of a generation when the parts have become really fucking cheap because they're out of
As
date.
much as a lot of you guys love Xbox as well, and you've got a fondness to them. I mean, I ain't loved them since 360, but how good is it going to be to taste the salty tears when I'm playing Halo on my PS5? It's going to be delicious.
I don't think you'll get Halo.
Delicious.
I think eventually there'll be Halo on the PlayStation, but it'll be when Xbox drop the hardware completely. Because there'll be no point keeping it off there.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm just going to play it in spite.
Weird.
It's exciting,
Anyway.
mate. It's exciting. I don't have to buy another console. It's exciting.
Yeah, you just have to keep looking at your PS5.
No. Love-hate relationship.
It also put in there about issues with the fact that they have to keep creating games for the Xbox Series X and the S.
Yeah.
You've got third-party publishers going, we're putting a lot of effort in trying to create a Series S version and an X version of a game, when to be honest with you, for us, the market is PC and PS5. The S was a great idea,
Mistake.
but in terms of we're trying to give people a budget option, and it's a good, nice little machine, but for developing and game developers, it's fucking nightmare.
I wonder if they'll probably get to the point where you don't have to make a specific S version of a game, but you have to leverage it through xCloud. So like you install so much of the game, but it's running via xCloud or something like that. That would make more sense because they don't want to cut off that market because they did sell a lot of the Series S because it's cheap as
I
chips.
still think there's more X's out there than S's.
No, yeah, but like early on, they sold a lot more S's. So it was
Yeah, and I got rid of mine quick smart.
Well, yeah, because he needed drug money.
That's irrelevant. That's coincidental.
Now the problem
Cool,
is
cool.
The problem is really if you were presented with an option, here's an Xbox, this one's cheaper, does the same thing. I'm going to go with the cheap one. Like the general public is going to go, I'll just go with the cheap one.
I did it.
There's been some leaks come out of the all-white digital-only Series X. Looks weird. Look, it actually does look like a fridge now.
I don't like white consoles. White consoles are shit.
No.
Looking at you, PlayStation.
Yeah,
Looking at
PS5
you
does look like
right
shit.
now. It's so fucking gross. I know I say it all the time, but
You have to share a bedroom with
offends
it.
me. Hey,
Fucking wake up in the middle of the night and see that, you'll have nightmares.
When I'm making love, I look behind and I can just see that.
Just
Just
watching
looking
you.
over, and when he sleeps,
Like a
that looks
bouncer.
over him. It's like,
Yeah, it's awful.
Yep, beep beep.
Actually, speaking of PlayStations in the dream, in sleep, last night of all nights, my monitor just flashed up. You were facing the bed, flashed up at about 5, 6 in the morning. Well, it would have been 4 in the morning because of the daylight savings. But however that works, I don't know how time works. But yeah, it flashed
went
up
forward.
and lit that fucking house up, saying rebuilding database. Must have had a power cut in the night.
Yeah,
It's rebuilding the. Oh, shit, me son.
Yeah, you'll have had one of those
I
like
thought the ghosts
2-minute power.
were here.
You'll have had one of those 2-minute power cuts or something.
Yeah, shit, me son. What's going on? And like in a haze, just like what the fuck? Frightening. Ugh, awful. Anyway, next, boring consoles.
speaking of boring consoles and hardware, developers allegedly pondering the point of the PS5 Pro upgrade. Speaking as part of a podcast, GameIndustry.biz, well-connected reporter Christopher Dring. There he is again. Good old Christopher Dring.
He's had a
No,
day.
Get him on the show.
Yeah, noted that he didn't meet a single person at the show that understood the point of Sony's mid-gen upgrade, which is rumoured to be releasing later this year. He clarified that he expects the PS fans to upgrade, and thus there are inherent advantages for Sony, but game makers are struggling to get excited about the system. Developers don't really seem to feel they need it, at least the ones I spoke to, he revealed. Many feel that they're really making the most out of the PS5, and they're not really making the most out of the PS5 in the first place.
That's because the PS4 and the Xbox One were wildly underpowered devices for what they were aiming to do. And
Go on, sorry.
This generation, the PS5 and the X, they're closer to PC hardware, and they were kind of overpowered for when they came out. Like, the PS5, I think, at times is targeting like what my graphics card is in my PC, which didn't even come out that year. So it's like there's a lot of headroom that they're not using in the PS5.
Death Stranding 2, baby.
Well, yeah, it's like, how often have we seen reports of a game come out on PS5 that runs badly? It's only like
Not
really shittly optimized games. Generally speaking, games come out and they run quite well.
I've never bought the better version of a current console in my life. Oh, shit, I have. I got the 3DS. Yeah, I got 3DS, which is the better version of the
I had
DS.
a
Was
PS
that a separate console? Was the 3DS a separate console?
I think it was separate, wasn't it?
3DS,
Yes.
but then there was the new 3DS.
That's the one I got. I got the new one.
Yeah, that's
After
the
I'd got the normal 3DS.
That was the upgraded one.
I got one with a nubbin on it.
I had a PS4 Pro and I didn't really notice the difference.
No,
That's what I mean.
Actually,
they all seem like a waste of fucking money.
I think I got it because it was better for PSVR. I think there was an
Yeah,
that
actual-
makes sense.
There was a port in the back, wasn't there?
There
for
was a
it?
socket for it, so you
So
didn't need the little
that-
breakout box.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
But
You needed a good TV for it as well. Like, if your TV doesn't get upgraded as well, there's no point.
Well, so I
got
got
a good TV.
I got my PS4 Pro when I moved into my first flat by myself after my divorce, and I got a 4K TV, and I got that as well. I got a good deal on the two of them, and I never really played anything in 4K because I always preferred performance mode.
Same.
But I think what also let it down was like the PS3 sold a lot because it had a Blu-ray player in it. they should have had a 4K Blu-ray player in the PS4 Pro, which they didn't. They never really leveraged that.
Would have cost more though, wouldn't it?
Well, but the Xbox One X had a 4K Blu-ray player in it.
It did.
It costs the same.
I've got a an Acer Predator, like fucking amazing monitor that I got on a right good bargain. Like it's like 4K, and I'm like, yo, I'd rather have more fraps.
Yeah, you want the frames, not like
And maybe it's because the games we play are a bit more
actiony,
frame centric, and actiony. But fucking hell,
I mean,
I'm noticing it. I'm noticing it with Dragon's Dogma, like you mentioned last time. I'm noticing.
More on that later. I will put games into quality mode, like especially if I'm doing a lot of photo mode stuff, like Final Fantasy Remake. That looks great. In quality
I
mode.
played the downtime moments on Death Stranding in 30 frames quality.
Yeah, because you didn't need the 60
It's
frames.
gorgeous. It's gorgeous. But when saying that, even in the really hectic moments in Death Stranding, you don't really need the frames. It's not necessary.
I can't remember really thinking, oh, that looks janky. But I think there was a marked difference in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth between
Massive difference.
graphics. Like it did look
faces.
pretty. Yeah, it looked bad on graphics on performance mode.
It did. It looked a lot worse, and there were less foliage and stuff like that. You definitely noticed it. But yeah, it's weird. Why have this amazing? I can see you guys in beautiful crystal clear 4K, but I don't play my games like that. Boring. Next,
Take-Two buys Gearbox Entertainment from Embracer for $460 million. Gearbox Entertainment will operate as part of Borderlands publisher 2K, with Randy Pitchford remaining in charge.
Yeah.
Boo.
Gearbox was one of Embracer Group's biggest acquisitions when it bought the company in 2021 in a deal worth $1.3 billion. As the deal was based on Gearbox reaching certain milestones, it's unclear how much that $1.3 billion Embracer ended up paying out beyond $363 million in guaranteed upfront payments. Now Take-Two Interactive has purchased Gearbox for $460 million, which will be paid out in Take-Two shares. The purchase includes Gearbox Software in Texas, Gearbox Montreal, Gearbox Studio Quebec, and will cover Gearbox IPs including Borderlands, Tiny Tina Wonderlands, Risk of Rain, Brothers in Arms, and Duke Nukem.
Like they're making another Duke Nukem game. Fucking hell.
God, it only feels
thing
like
is,
5 minutes ago we were
they
talking
did-
about it being bought in the first place.
they did Bulletstorm. That were good.
No, they only published Bulletstorm. That was People Can Fly,
Oh.
who made that.
I like Bulletstorm a lot. It was daft.
It was good. I mean, if they can make a good Borderlands game again, like something of the quality of Borderlands 2, I'd be up for that.
I've just heard Biggie's ears prick up in the future. Man loves Borderlands, doesn't he? Jam.
Risk of Rain was really good. I just want Randy Pitchford out of the fucking out of the industry. The man's so greasy. He's such
Can't catch him.
such a cringe person and potentially a nonce. Just like, oh, get rid of him. He makes me feel awkward.
Potential nonsense is something that you can quantify.
Well,
No, there's no libel there, as we just said potentially.
Potential, yeah. We're allowed to say that legally.
Let's not forget he left a USB stick in medieval times, and someone opened it, and there was a load of like Duke Nukem files in there, and then for some reason some like really creepy videos of like 16-year-olds doing shit, and it's just like, oh.
Groovy. Next,
on top of character DLC and microtransactions, Tekken 8 is now getting a premium pass, battle pass. Months after its initial release, Bandai Namco seems hellbent on squeezing as much money as possible from Tekken 8. Not only does the game have seasonal DLC passes, the first is set to offer 4 additional characters, starting with Eddie next week. But it's recently added microtransactions where you can exchange premium currency for cosmetic items.
I've seen the Eddie trailer. It looks good.
So
remember when you could unlock these characters by just playing the fucking game? Like, that was the one thing that got you replaying Tekken over and over again. Why do I want to play the story mode and the arcade mode over and over and over again? Because I get to unlock stages and characters.
Because I've unlocked Gon and no one can beat me now.
Exactly.
There's
you had to do something so special to get Gon and Dr. B. Like, it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a case of defeating the game; you had to do it specifically and everything. Yeah. It was so good.
I've just looked on Steam at the DLC page. There's two DLCs showing at the minute on it. One is the Tekken 8 Ultimate Pack for £17. Ultimate Pack includes the following content: Avatar costume, classic Tekken t-shirt set, 32 designs, and Avatar skins for Kazuya, Jin, and Jun. And then there's this deluxe upgrade pack for £35, which includes playable character 1 year pass, so Eddie Gordo and others, 3-day early access for DLC characters, and an Avatar skin for Kinjin. And
That's more than I paid for the game, that.
And character costume gold suit pack, 32 total. So you get 32 gold suits. That doesn't seem worth it.
I love Tekken. I think it's an amazing fighting game. This one especially is incredible. It looks amazing. It fights amazing. But just rinsing people for clothes and cosmetics is just disgusting.
It just seems to be the big fighting games because Street Fighter 6 is getting that way, and Street Fighter 5 was fucking terrible for it.
Make me want to play online. Like, make me go rank up to this level and you'll unlock these. Fight this many people and you'll unlock these. Not just like, I know why, because they're a business and they want to make money. But like, give me a reason to want to continue playing online and fighting people and doing stuff.
Like at the minute, there's £135 worth of DLC for Street Fighter 6 on Steam. One of them is just the original soundtrack, which is 60 fucking quid. It costs more than the bastard game.
And people complain about Dragon's Dogma. Fucking hell.
I think we peaked at Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball too. We didn't know how good we had it.
What was Street Fighter 5's? Because that one was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. We didn't know how good we had it.
I don't know. Stellar Blade's got
disc.
some good physics.
There's a demo out now, isn't there? I forgot to download that. I forgot to download that.
All I've seen is her going up and down a ladder.
Yeah.
Excellent ladder physics.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Next,
over into the world of film and TV. Christopher Nolan will now be referred to as Sir Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
As he's been
finally
receiving a knighthood for services to the film industry.
He's had a good 12 months.
Yep.
He really has.
His producing partner and wife, Emma Thomas, will also be receiving a damehood.
That's sweet.
You can just see them now just rattling around the house going, Sir, Dame.
See, I quite like that because obviously he's the face of his films.
Yeah.
Because he's the director, but when she works on them and produces them and does all the other stuff,
she's getting the credit as well.
Yeah, they're recognising her work as well.
I also think we should go back to medieval times where knights have to actually defend the realm. I can imagine Elton John leading the front line. Get him, darlings!
James Dyson on the front line with his sword.
Yeah, chasing off the French.
What they should do is, if I was given a knighthood, rather than just getting a medal or whatever it is to get, I'd want a suit of armour. So can I just have a suit of armour instead?
Do you know how impractical suit of armour is that? You can't sit down in them.
I don't want it to wear. I just want it for my house. I want it in that corner right there. Imagine there, just every week I'll log on and there's a suit of armour.
I thought you had one. I thought you already had
I'll tell you what, Stig, for your 40th birthday, we'll all chip in and get you a suit of armour for the corner of your room.
Oh, brilliant. Get saving. You've got 2 years.
Yeah.
Fuck, and you're not getting any off me, mate. Not a chance. Not for that.
I'll buy you some
buy you a dress.
I'll buy you some Gundam oodles. That'll sweeten the deal.
It will sweeten the deal. Maybe. Yeah. Can you get me that Metal Gear X?
Fuck off. I want that. Don't even have Gundam.
Get two.
I posted that Metal Gear X, the Lego looking one.
Yeah.
Seen it?
Yeah.
You can get it. It's about 55 quid. Kate was like, what do you want for your birthday? To give some ideas. I was like, I just sent her that on WhatsApp.
They've done a gunplow on Metal Gear X that me and Gadget are talking about. How much is it? Like 500 quid?
Yeah, because it's like super
and it's
limited
the size
edition.
of a small dog.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. This is just about I don't think it's probably about 10-inch, maybe or something like that. So
yeah, the Gunpla one's like 24 inches, something like that. It's a ridiculous scale. I think it's supposed to be in scale with the action figures you can get from Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, and he says build time 18 hours. Like, it usually takes about 2 hours to build a Gundam. 18 hours is absolutely horrendous.
I want it. I want it so bad.
I do. Next.
Timothée Chalamet has signed a multi-year deal with Warner Brothers to start and producing new films. So
good for him.
Is more June.
Yep.
Robin.
June Messiah.
Nightwing.
Is Wonka Warner Brothers as well?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I think we're going to get at least another Wonka film from him.
The Wonka Cinematic Universe.
I actually think we're going to get a Wonka
Wonka
film
The Birth of the Unknown.
I knew you were going to say that.
I think we're going to get a Wonka film set in between one that just happened and
the Glasgow thing.
and Willy Wonka and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory,
Oh.
Yeah.
and then we're going to get a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with him.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think what this basically leads to is at some point there's going to be some passion project that he wants to do come out. But we're going to get, this is like sealing him as a leading man. If Warner Brothers are putting him to a multi-year deal, this is kind of, there's going to be a lot of films starring him coming out as the lead.
Yeah.
And I think Dune Part 2 sold that for a lot of people.
I think I feel a bit shitty about that because Warner Bros. Are going to pump out AAA blockbusters. I like him in his indie darling films and stuff like that. I don't want him to lose that edge.
I don't think he will, but
I mean, he's still got that edge in Dune Part 2. Like, seriously, watch it.
I intend to, pal. Don't worry. I'm not going to not watch it.
I know, but
I do think Gadget's right. Like, there'll be somewhere in that contract to say
I can still do other films.
3 for you, 1 for me, kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to do this. I find this film that I want to produce. I want to, be part of this film, and you've got to do it with me.
I really liked his bit part in Don't Look Up, for instance. Really just a tiny role, and he was just really sweet and cool in that. You know what I mean? There's loads of stuff he's done in the back. He's not. He doesn't have to be a leading man to like pop. I like him.
He's just a good
He's
actor.
the new DiCaprio in my eyes.
Yeah, I can see that. As long as he just doesn't have a problematic dating life, he'll be golden.
Yeah, that's true. 19-year-old Leo, come on, fuck's sake, man.
So I like you won't be doing the same. Anyway, let's move on.
No, I wouldn't. You know my rule: if they don't know who Neil Buchanan is, I don't go out with them.
We've got to start with 2. We've got to start with a 2.
Was it
They have to sing the Crystal Maze theme tune. They have to sing the Crystal Maze theme tune and tell me who Neil Buchanan is for me to even
Do you know what though?
initiate.
Like, I joke, and exactly that. What you're saying is kind of the real part of it. Is they're young and they're attractive and everything, but
What are you going to talk about?
The conversation cannot be that fucking interesting, can it?
No.
Yeah, like she's
Go
like,
on TikTok and listen to Gen X, not Gen X, Gen
Gen
Z,
Z.
and that. I'm like,
she's talking to Leo. She's like, "Oh, you look dead pang," and he's like, "What are you on about?
like,
What are you talking about?"
yeah, I'm just, and he's even older than us,
He's 50.
so
That's right. It's got to go both ways, hasn't it? So any 20-year-old speaking to him is like, oh my God, granddad.
yeah, exactly. Like he'd probably mention something, and they'd be like, "The fuck is he talking about?
Why do you smell like digestive biscuits
Why is he
and lavender?
bumbling around the
Why
house?"
have you got non-snuggets in your pockets? I don't want to wear his original. Come on, go away. He's handsome, like. Don't get me wrong, he's handsome, but fucking hell, man.
I think the best.
Let's not divulge.
I think the most I could do is 10 years either way.
It's still too low for me, man. I can go 40 years above me. I don't give a fuck about how old they are to me. I can relate still. Eh, dear me. Next
up, Spider-Man 4 is looking to begin filming in September or October. Justin Lin was one of the names in the mix to direct the film.
Oh, God.
Who's this from? Is it MCU?
MCU.
Yes, this is MCU Spider-Man. So
Is
Spider-Man
it
4.
Tom Holland?
Justin Lin, though, is the guy behind
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious.
Yes, let's go. It's about family. This
So,
one.
I don't really have much hope for Spider-Man if it's going to be directed by the guy who's involved in the Fast and Furious franchise. When Marvel want to try and, especially the MCU, produce better films. maybe
How
we'll
do you know
just
it's going to be bad?
Because Justin Lin's a bad director.
Because it's.
I don't think he is.
I enjoy the Fast and Furious. I'm a Fast and Furious apologist. You know this. We all know this. But he's not a great director.
Who do you want? Do you want Webb to come back? What's his name? Thingy Webb. Mark Webb.
I want Max Chapman, but I think he's doing. I think he's doing.
So
Isn't he doing Fantastic Four?
Mm-hmm.
So Justin Lin as a director has done. His first Fast and Furious film was Tokyo Drift.
Great film.
Then done 4, 5, 6, 9. He also
Solid.
he also did
Five's
Star
best
Trek
one.
Beyond.
Great film.
No, it fucking wasn't.
I've never seen it. I'm just saying it.
Just say it to make us. He was executive producer on Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Great film. Never seen it.
Oh no!
Great film. Bring him on. I like it. Do it. Fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Speaking of Spider-Man, well, actually, just before we move on to that next Spider-Man move, I hope that they do keep it a bit more grounded. I had heard the rumors that Marvel, Disney side, wanted him to be a bit more grounded and street level this one to just make it a bit different. And then Sony were like, no, we want big budget splashing everywhere and multiverse stuff. And based on who has done the better output of films for Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't think Sony get a word in.
Yeah.
I mean, also the ending for No Way Home set it up as if he was going to be neighborhood Spider-Man again.
Yeah. I'm telling you, we had the Venom set up. D'Onofrio's back as Kingpin. I want fucking Kingpin in Spider-Man. And the end of Echo, spoiler alert, beep, 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 he's going to make himself the mayor of New York. So if he's the mayor of New York...
That leads into a lot of Spider-Man stories.
Yeah, and Spider-Man street level stuff. There's a lot of stuff you can do there. Plus, if you can be all like, oh, well, how can he fight against Spider-Man? Symbiote. Do something different. Don't do Venom. Have Kingpin, have it attach itself to Kingpin and have like Kingpin be the one. I'm pretty sure he's probably at some point Oodles, has he?
Yeah. Yeah,
there you go. I mean, that symbiote's probably attached itself to everyone at this point.
It's a bit of a slut.
Yeah, definitely has. Kingpin, here's a fun fact with the Kingpin. The symbiote couldn't fit fully around his body, so he just did his arms.
There you go then.
That's how big he was.
I do love how in the comics and especially Spider-Verse films, I love how the Kingpin is just progressively more and more massive.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s cartoon, he was a real fat fucker. In Spider-Verse, he's a fucking square. Like,
There's a really
fucking love his designs.
There's a really clever Kingpin arc that went on, I think 2005, 2006, where, because obviously the X-Men, the mutants were getting some traction again because of the films, and they thought that Kingpin was a mutant, so he was so big. So they had Hank McCoy, the Beast, do some tests on Kingpin. Turns out it's not a mutant; he's just a monster. He's just big.
He's just a big man.
Hank McCoy's like, well, I'm flabbergasted at these results. You're human, completely human. So yeah. I mean, he's a classic. Kingpin's a classic. Absolute beast. Killed the Green Goblin. You know what I mean? He's a man.
Yeah.
Knows what he's doing.
Just give me D'Onofrio in a fucking film.
Yes, please.
With symbiote arms.
Yeah, with symbiote arms.
Let's go. I'm up for that, definitely. Cool. Next
Next Pirates of the Caribbean film is confirmed to be a reboot. The rumours of this were floating around last year.
Finally.
But to be honest, just don't bother. Kill it off.
I've seen first and that's it.
Like,
You've seen the best one.
It is the best one, and
I gave it like a 3 out of 5.
But it was like when that came out, I think Johnny Depp, that character is amazing, but then it got overplayed, and he became the main focus of the films.
I like that he was barely
work.
in that first one.
Mm.
And people want Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean film. If you're going to do one, people are going to be like, why are we doing a Pirates of the Caribbean without Jack Sparrow? And then it'll bomb, and then they'll do a new one, and they'll be like, but Jack's back this time.
Yeah.
The Return of Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Just don't bother. Do something different.
Yeah, fuck
Anyway.
'em.
Yep.
Next.
And final one in film and TV is quite sad. Gen V has halted production until further notice due to the sad and untimely death of Chance Padoma.
Awful.
Yep.
Bike accident, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's only 27.
He was
Yeah.
fucking great in Gen V.
Yeah, it was meant to start up in April for season 2, but they put it on hiatus until definite, like, they don't know when they're going to go back. Presumably because now they're going to have to obviously recast his character.
Or write him out.
Yeah.
It's just awful. It's I genuinely think he was one of the best things in that series. He had a good career ahead of him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it was really, really good.
Charismatic, great looking. Seemed to be enjoying himself. He was getting in on the viral marketing that those shows do really well.
He was the best thing in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina because that show was
Definitely
shite.
was. Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, he was camp as fuck in it as well.
Bless him. Yeah, sad loss for all. Fucking what a tragedy. Next.
Yeah, sorry to move on from that to the weird world web, but this week's is woman nurses stricken baby hedgehog overnight, only to discover it was a fluffy hat wobble when she took it to the animal hospital.
Bless her.
Now, Candy, can you answer us, why did you believe that this hedgehog, air bubble was a hedgehog? Because it was definitely you, wasn't it?
It was definitely me, yeah. I mean, I have to say, I can understand where the poor person's coming from, because the amount of times I've looked at like some random objects and thought it was my cat. Like, I just bent down and like stroked my handbag.
She left milk out for the air bubble.
Oh, you feel bad for laughing, but it is funny.
I don't feel bad for laughing. I feel like she's an absolute fucking pillock.
Do you know what? I also thought I had a hedgehog once, because every now and again I'd hear
Here
on
we
my
go.
window, I'd hear this like little sound. It would be like, I don't know if you could hear that, but I was like, that's got to be a hedgehog, because I don't know what sounds else that would come from. So I put like cat food out for it and everything.
Ghosts.
And this cat food would always be gone in the morning. Until I heard it one day. I was like, right, I'm going to catch it, because it was first thing in the morning and it was still light. It's like, I can
Fast,
hear the fucking
mate.
thing. I went out, the cat food was gone. I was like, a cat, it's eating it. But then I also noticed this snail on my window, just like squeaking its way along. So it was fucking slugs
You've got the hearing to be able to hear a snail.
scraping across my window. I swear, I can hear it on my
Is
window.
that your mutant power?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I was really,
Really good
disappointed.
hearing.
It's just like slugs and snails like scraping their way across my window.
We've got a hedgehog that comes into the garden every year, and it's where his little mating ground is. So like, there's been a couple of times over the years we've lived here. Like, I've gone out for like a smoke in the middle of the night, and I've heard a bit of a hot and steamy hedgehog sex.
Oh, a shag pad.
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
They make a fucking racket.
When I was in Thailand as well,
Sounds
we
like they're
were
torturing
in a
each other.
hostel. We were in a hostel, and it had glass windows on this hostel, but it was more like a beach hut.
Well, as
type
opposed to
thing.
those brick windows that they have.
Yeah, and every night I could hear tink, 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 tink on glass, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? I wouldn't think it was a giant spider crab climbing up the fucking glass.
Spider crab.
Crab, it's a crab, it's not a spider, it's a crab.
Even so, they're the spiders of the sea, though, aren't they?
Yeah, and it was just massive, and it could cling onto glass. Think of the power it had. It was massive, and I found it fascinating.
Spider
I've got
crabs
videos
are mental.
somewhere of it. Yeah, they're insane. They don't believe in gravity, I don't think.
There's a TikTok going around of a ship that was in Thailand that was being overrun by spider crabs in the Japanese seas.
Yeah, it's because something like the gestation period is really quick. Like they have sex and are born in like 2 weeks. They don't give a fuck. They're just like, yeah, let's go. I'd eat one though.
Supposedly a delicacy, mostly because, like you say, they breed so prodigiously. There's so fucking many of the bastards.
Eat them. That's all we've got.
The bugs of the sea.
Cool. Thanks for that news there, Stig. Time for the main show. I'm going to start. I've been doing quite a bit, because we didn't do a Nexus properly last week. I want to start with something that's gave me so much joy this past week or two. It's made me feel young. It's made me feel just grateful for a particular acquisition that Mickey Mouse made a while ago. X-Men 97. Is anyone watching this show?
I've not seen it yet. I'm waiting for it all to be
I'm
out.
waiting for it all to come out, yeah.
So I've watched 3 episodes. The only 3 episodes that are out as of recording. It is the continuation of X-Men from 1997. It is not a reboot. It is a continuation. So, luckily, the first episode does a really good recap of what's gone on before.
Yeah.
Oh my! If you skip the intro on this show, do you know why you can skip intros on shows? There's something wrong with you.
You need to
They've
report it to the
rejigged.
police.
They've rejigged the intro and made it just that little bit more modern.
Is it still
Added
the
extra guitars.
Is it still?
Oh
that
yeah,
song?
yeah. Just added a bit more chug,
Oh,
more chuggy chug to it.
like a bit of chug.
And they've done the art style as if it was from 97, but it's not grainy. It's like beautiful refresh rates, and you know what I mean. It just looks stunning, and all the characters are there. They've got the voice actors back. It's just sensational. And already the maturity of the story compared to the 1997 version is apples, because they know they're marketing it at people that used to watch this in 1997 who are now nearly in the 40s or 40 plus, unfortunately. And it's just, it hits so hard, so fast. There's just revelations happening that's shaking what I knew of that old. I can't say it's so story focused. It's unreal. It's like a high drama, but X-Men cartoon. Do you know what I mean? It's really fucking sensational. And episode 3 in particular felt like a season finale on its own. And every episode ends on a cliffhanger because they know they're bringing it out every week. Oh my God. If you're not watching this, you're doing something wrong with your life.
I'm going to watch it, trust me. You know, I've been waiting for it. I just want them all out. I want them all out rather than... So.
It's so fucking good. I don't know if you've seen it on TikTok, everyone buzzing over it and stuff like that. But I like how people are just discovering how quote unquote woke X-Men is. They've never been woke.
My favorite.
They've always been the same.
Moaning about the fashion and like the Gambit, and it's like, this is meant to take place 97. Remember, so the
people kicking off their Gambit's queer code, and then there's like people like stitching them going, did you not see it in 1997? He throws pink cards. He's got a pink suit of armor on,
pink vest on. He's pretty gay, but yeah,
at the very least, he's incredibly bisexual.
Yeah, there's a lot of coding like that, but in a good way that it's not any different, because obviously X-Men was created for the civil rights movements and equality and stuff like that in the first place. And it's just going on about that. It's just carrying on with that kind of those kind of things. Remember, it's a world where they inhabit before the internet took off.
Yeah.
So it's just a microcosm of like news stories and fake news coming from big CNNs and Fox Newses and stuff like that in their universe. And it's just great. And Magneto in this is...
He has long flowing hair.
He's got... Because he don't need... spoiler alert, at the end of the last... in 1997, Charles Xavier died. Right? In 1997, that's how that ended. In this, it's the aftermath of him dying. And now, Charles Xavier's dead, Magneto does not need to wear his helmet.
Yeah.
And he's got a beautiful head of hair. And he's ripped. He's been to the gym. He's trying to shag off the X-Men.
As you would. They're all beautiful.
I'm not kidding. He is.
Rogue was still my first love as a child. Who are you?
Yeah, but they've taken away her bum.
Unwatchable.
Well, get ready. To stare at now.
There's a lot of Rogue in this. There's a lot of everyone in it. It's just there's a lot of Jean Grey in this as well.
Sugar.
If you like your gingers, it's just I don't know. It's just
why does he not wear the helmet against Jean Grey then?
Because she's
telekinetic. She's not psychokinetic.
And they're not against each other anymore.
I know.
If you know them from the original, they're not enemies. But it's just really fucking special. It's the reverence, and it's got Kevin Feige written all over it because it's funnier than it used to be. You know, his executive producing is like, make it funnier.
It was still pretty funny back then. I still get a kick out of
it. Was funny
out of Wolverine with the photo frame, and that's just now become my favorite meme of all time.
There's also that clip of him, like you see him running from the ship in the background, and he just runs up and like I think it's Cyclops. He just punches.
Yeah,
it's like one of those like it looks like a Monty Python, like forever running, and then eventually he gets there.
And also, if you are a Cyclops stan like I am, if he's a very underrated character. He's had to take the mantle of leader, and it's a good like imposter syndrome style story to it so far.
Is he still a goody two shoes?
Well, not quite. But how can I run this squad when there's so many more powerful people than me in this squad? You know what I mean? Look at fucking Storm. She's an Omega level fucking mutant. You know what I mean? An actual god. And Magneto's an Omega level mutant. It's just really fucking special. But that's not the only thing I've done this week. I've done a triple threat this week.
Oh,
the main thing.
Oh, you tripled yourself.
I've tripled myself. I've read a book. I've watched the film of the book, and I've watched the remake of the film of the book all this week.
Okay, now.
Yeah, all firsts for me. So I've read the book Papillon by Henri Charrier. Do you know of Papillon?
Not the title.
Only the title.
So, it's a story about the main character, Papillon, who is Henry Charrier. It's an autobiographical book / film / remake of a film. And it's about how he's wrongfully accused of murder in Francais, and he gets sent to somewhere.
French Guiana.
South American. French Guiana, there you go. You'd think I'd read book on it, but I did. French Guiana into like a prison that's like you can't escape, and it's the book is a typical Moby Dick style. This is what I did next. This is what I do.
Yeah.
This is how prison life works. I'm breaking it down to you. And the film, the original film is it's what's his name? Great Escape. Steve McQueen.
Okay.
And Dustin Hoffman. Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman.
All right.
Steve McQueen's Papillon and Dustin Hoffman's is right-hand man in prison. And the remake is your man from Newcastle, from Sons of Anarchy.
Charlie Hunnam. As
Charlie
a Frenchman.
Hunnam. Yeah. And
Please tell me he's doing a French accent because he's
That man
terrible at
loves to do
accents.
accents. He loves to do accents.
So it's got Charlie Hunnam and Freddie Mercury. What's his name? Mr. Robot.
Rami Malek.
Rami Malek.
Oh,
And
no.
they're doing... Right. The book's fucking incredible. The first film is absolutely incredible. The remake is better
Is
than the
it?
film. I fucking love the remake. It scored better as well.
It's got a 51 on
So-
Metacritic.
Yeah, but I'm not about user score. The original wasn't that fucking high either. But they did it in the original film as well. They didn't pretend to be French. They were from France. They didn't put French accents on.
Oh.
Nobody did. And they don't in the remake either. And it's the only time I've really liked Charlie Hunnam, apart from in The Gentleman. I liked him in The Gentleman. This is one of those films that makes like that you can see where like Frank Darabont got his idea for what's it called, Shawshank Redemption and stuff like that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because the original was like 70s, I think, and because it's all based on real life, they actually had the guy that went to that prison, Henry Charrier, Papillon. His nickname's Papillon because Papillon's butterfly in French, and he's got a butterfly on his chest.
Okay.
Tattoo. Anyway, so yeah, he's been on both, and he's been able to correspond with directors and stuff like that, and make sure it's accurate. And I thought it was absolutely beautiful, and I didn't even know the remake existed. But I read the book, and then I watched I knew the 70s one existed. I watched that, and I thought that was brilliant. And then it popped up on Amazon saying, you might like this. It said Papillon again. I went, it's a show. And I'm like, oh no, it's a remake. Oh my God, it's got Rami Malek in it and Charlie Hunnam.
Fair enough.
And I watched it, and I like it more. And it's probably blasphemous to some people, but I like it more than the original film. The book's better than all of it. I mean, God, I'm a snob, aren't I? The book's fucking incredible. But if you're into... I don't know, I really like the genre of being imprisoned and trying to escape prison and insurmountable odds and the human condition and stuff like that. I don't know, there's something... I like that I'm not in prison. Do you know what I mean when I'm watching it? I'm not there.
I'm very fond of not being in prison.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know, it's really good. It's twisty and turny, you don't expect it. It's not straightforward as Shawshank Redemption, where in Shawshank Redemption you're just waiting for him to get out, aren't you, by the end? This is he even going to continue to try and get out anymore? Or has he just thought, fuck it? That kind of thing. It's really clever. And in this, you know he's innocent. Or at least the author states that he himself is innocent.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In the book. So he's wrongly accused. And so why wouldn't you want to break out? And back then, in the 1930s, 1940s, the French weren't really listening. They was like, get him over there and leave him. It's just really fucking good. If you've not watched it and you're into that kind of genre, the prison life genre, I don't know what it's called, just prison films.
Is it a prison break films. Or is it just living in prison?
It's living in prison. There's aspects of prison breaks, but it's just really good. It's gritty. It's not for the faint-hearted either. There's a lot of man-on-man violence. There's a lot of buggery and stuff like that. So if you're not into that, don't watch it with the kids. Don't watch it with your nanan. But the book's fucking graphic as well to read the book. It's not a long book either because it's a memoir.
Yeah.
I really recommend it. I don't know why I went to it. I don't know why I picked that book. Oh, I do. It was free.
Ah, there it is.
So at work, they've got a bookshelf where people swap books, and I don't replace it with any of my books. I just take them. Just take the books, and I saw it. I went, I'm having that.
You're terrible.
And I like a nice paperback that I can fit in my back pocket.
All right.
Something cool like that. But yeah, really, really recommend Papillon in any of its guises. Any 3 versions of it, really, really, really enjoyable. And that's what I've done this week, apart from playing a game that I'm pretty sure Gadget wants to talk about. So we'll move to him now.
Okay, so a couple of things before I get on to what Oodles and I have been doing. On Netflix, season 2 of Physical 100 is out, which is the Korean game show where muscly people compete against each other.
The sexy show.
Yeah. We've been watching that, and it's another 100 really, really fit and healthy people doing extreme fitness challenges.
They look like statues, and there's statues in it.
Yeah, because
Do they still have to smash the statues?
So the conceit is that they have a cast made of their torso, and it's all about who has the most perfect body. And when you're eliminated, you have to take a sledgehammer to your plaster cast torso.
Like if I was in it, listeners, I'd be the sledgehammer.
If you were in it, Oodles, you would just be a hole, a greasy hole by the end of it.
Do you remember how the first challenge in the first one was that you had to hang on for a long time on this thing? I don't think I'd be even able to jump up and grab the pole.
So
how long do you think you can hold yourself? Because I've done that myself, not from that high up. I've done it.
I haven't had to try in a while.
I can hold myself for about 5 minutes, because I'm skinny.
I can't hold myself at all because I've got this huge gut.
You've got huge arms, though.
Yeah, I still can't do a pull-up yet. The first challenge in this one's even more brutal. They put all 100 of them on unpowered treadmills. So normally with a treadmill, it's a motorized belt that you're running on. These ones, it's a weighted track that you have to push.
Oof.
And
with your feet.
With your feet. So it's supposed to simulate running on the road.
Oh, I bet it doesn't now.
But it's heavy. So they've got to do a 10-minute run on that. The 50 people who got the lowest distance are eliminated. Yeah. That 50 then the winning 50 then have to do another 7 minutes to get the top 10, and the top 10 have to do another 5 minutes on top of that.
Fuck.
And you see these fit people absolutely suffering. It's incredible. I'm fucking exhausted watching it. I'm sat there with me fucking McDonald's watching it. I'm just like, nah.
I do like the spectacle of that show. I watched most of the first season. The spectacle's incredible.
It's so overproduced. It's wonderful.
The zoom-in cameras. It's just really fucking funny. And the glistening abs, the glistening biceps. It's just, yeah.
They've put a lot more contact sports into this one because there's a lot more people who are wrestlers or martial artists.
I like the tag one they did last year.
So
I enjoyed that one.
So the tag one's still in it, but now you've got to hold on to a medicine ball rather than catch each other.
Ooh.
But you get a choice of 3 arenas. So one's the original tag arena where it's a load of obstacles and you got to run around. One of them is a water pit. So it's a few inches of water. And then the third one is a UFC ring.
Oh, like an octagon.
Octagon with the chain link around it.
Ooh.
And there's a lot of UFC fighters in it this year. And it's absolutely brutal. And they still do the thing where everyone is dubbed with really crap American voice actors, and it's so
That's my favourite thing about it.
It's so fucking funny. Because
they go, oh my God, you look like a god.
Yeah,
they get
the tone and the emotion completely wrong of every single person. It's brilliant, but
and they'll go, because they'll have a famous one on it. It's him. Oh no, it's him. What is he doing here? Yeah, it's so good.
It's great.
Should we do our own dub?
We should do, yeah.
Special, Patreon special.
Yeah, the second season's out now. They've amped up the challenges. They've amped up the people that they've put in there.
They've amped up the Dutch angles.
There's one lad in there who they affectionately nicknamed Thanos. And he's
Thanos. He's got a right chin on him.
He's a bodybuilding model, so he's like a fitness model. But his physique is surreal because it's he's got these huge traps that come down, and then his delts and his shoulder muscles extend outwards, so he looks like a kind of a triangle with a triangle on top of him. He looks surreal. He doesn't look human.
I like him. I'm into him.
And there's one really Jack Glass in there, and she's incredible.
I love Jack women.
Because one of the challenges they've got is there's like a maze with 3 sets of scales, like really large scales, and they've got these sandbags that they have to carry to them. It's basically whoever can. It's like it's like Conquest. Whoever controls the most points, and so they're going through it and they're doing all the kind of piece to camera, and one of these teams is this jacked woman and like I think she's the other woman on the team's a gymnast. And speaking of the gymnast, one says, "Oh, it was so difficult. Everything was so heavy." Then it cuts to this Jack girl. No, they weren't that heavy.
I love it. I still fantasize about She-Hulk.
I know you do. We all do.
God, she was so big.
Yeah. So I really recommend it. It's stupid fun. And it's overproduced as hell. But like Netflix have put some budget into it.
I tell you what, Korean telly's so fucking good in it.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit like a Squid Game kind of thing, really. It's like it's a proper challenge. So yeah,
if you've never watched much Korean reality TV, guys, think of everything we watched on Bravo back in the early noughties. It's all that stuff.
Yeah,
super fucking. It's good.
It's like a really intense version of Takeshi's Castle.
Yeah, it is.
Do you know what I like about them as well? It's like you feel like you've done a workout yourself after you've watched it. So
I'm
like
knackered by
you're
the
like
end.
You have to have a
panting and
shower.
stuff.
I'm fucked.
Yeah, feels like you've actually achieved something.
Bless them. And there's one lad now. I won't say how far he gets into it, but he's only just left high school. He's like a high school wrestling champion. He's like 17
like
or 18.
Greco wrestling as well.
Yeah,
he's like hardcore fucking you will die wrestling.
He's like 17 or 18, and fuck me, that lad's so strong compared to like all these people who have like made a career as like fitness influencers and like bodybuilders and stuff. Like the lad's amazing.
I'm watching this English guy on TikTok, and he says if you follow the Korean bodybuilding method out because of their diet, you'll be jacked quicker.
Yeah,
because it's all omega. Is it omega 7 or whatever it is?
Something like that. It's a lot of fish, isn't it?
Creatine and omega 7. Just all get fucking jacked.
But the main thing I want to talk about, and this is what Oodles has also been doing, we've both been playing Dragon's Dogma 2.
A lot.
I haven't played it as much as you, but I've put a good few hours into it. For those not aware, it's a action RPG set in a very medieval fantasy world. There's very few conceits like you get with a lot of modern fantasy.
It's very Mediterranean as well.
It's very Mediterranean, but like the dialogue especially, there's lots of sirs and mayhaps. And
I hate when they go, methinks we should go down there.
Mayhaps this ladder will lead us somewhere.
Do you betroth the sword upon thine quiver?
Yeah, that kind of bullshit. So overwritten, but it's great. You play the Arisen, who is the person who has been chosen by the dragon, and the dragon's eaten your heart. You've been deposed from the throne.
Not good, that.
No, not really good.
Not good for you, pal.
You've been deposed from the throne for some because of a rather corrupt regent who wants to keep her family on the throne.
There is an usurper.
A usurper to the throne. And you break out of a slave colony, and it's your job to get back in the big chair.
Hang on. You break out on a griffin.
On a griffin, yes.
There's a difference.
Oh, poor Henry. He gets knocked out of the sky as well.
I loved him.
He was a good boy. So we've talked about this before. Oodles and I both loved the original Dragon's Dogma, which came out like a decade ago.
God, I feel old.
And it was but it was also a really obtuse and difficult game to get into.
Came out similar time to Dark Souls. I was just having an obtuse year that year.
Yeah, it was about a year after Dark Souls it came out. A lot of people compared it to Dark Souls, and it was not like it. Apart from you had big boss monsters.
It's more like Monster Hunter.
Yeah. But it also had one of the worst openings of any game I've ever played. Like, first 5 hours are fucking terrible.
Fucking shy. I don't know how I got through it.
Thankfully, they fixed that with this one. The opening is much better, much more streamlined, gets you to the point quicker.
It is.
They've basically just taken Dragon's Dogma and done more of it.
They just made it better.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go into the first point. The microtransactions don't really matter that much. There was a big thing where there's loads of kind of like, you get Rift Stones and Keystones and shit like that, and you can buy them on the PlayStation Store or the PS or on Steam Store, whatever. I've not needed to use them, and it's never been pushed in front of us. Like, even when you go into the main menu, there's no option to go to the PlayStation Store.
I'm that far in front of you, Gadget, that now I've got these in-app purchase items that I've collected in the game. I've got that many of them, I've had to put them in storage. You do not need to buy any in-app purchases on this game.
No. The other point of contention is the frame rate is dog shit. There are times when it runs like a slideshow, but I think
I got down to 10 frames yesterday.
Yeah. The problem, and the reason why the frame rate is so dog shit is the world is fucking gorgeous. Like, they're really pushing a lot at the RE engine.
There's no loading at all.
No, it is a seamless open world. You only get a loading screen when you die and respawn.
If you die.
Even when you use like a rift stone or a portal stone or whatever it's called, and you like
it's instant, isn't it?
Fast travel between places, it's instant. So it's simulating a lot of the world. I get why the frame rate's bad. I wish they kind of maybe delayed it by a few months and got it sorted, but hey ho, this is where we're at.
They patched it this morning, and it's improved the first major city. Really significantly. As I've noticed it, like the NPCs don't just pop out of nowhere anymore.
Oh, that's good, because that was annoying me.
Because you can't find people that you need to get to do your quest because they're invisible and they haven't loaded yet.
Yeah,
but that doesn't happen in. I haven't checked out the other major city yet because that is even more packed than the first one.
Yeah, well, I'm still in the first major city.
I've heard that there's some stuff in the game that could like properly break it. Like if
I'll talk about that in a second for you.
Yeah, but that sounds quite intriguing, really, that like if you don't do something it can fuck up the story so much.
Yeah, I've got an anecdote on that, but I'll let Gadget finish his point.
Yeah, it can. So there's like a full day-night cycle. Some quests are tied to time, so if you don't do them in time, or you wait, you do too many rests between them, you'll miss them, a little bit like how Baldur's Gate did it.
I like that. I like that because it feels like it's got consequences. Whereas there's so many RPGs, it's like, you've got to go do this, and you're just like, I'm going to go adventure for 20 hours. Okay, back to this quest.
Yeah, Fallout.
The world's ending, but I've got to go collect chickens first.
Yeah. Link, we need your help. Yeah, but I've got to slide down. I've got to cook up some chicken and go chase them.
So when I started the game, so you can change your class at any point in the game because they're under what's called vocations. So you
without repercussions either.
Without repercussions, you keep your gear. It doesn't cost you that much. And you can level up. So I started the game as an archer, and I was having a thoroughly fucking miserable time with it. Turns out it's a really dull class that doesn't really do much. You're just kind of standing away from fights, just constantly pressing square and firing arrows and things.
It's not a good class to be. Your pawn should be an archer.
Yeah, so we'll get into pawns in a second. I changed my class to a thief, and I have 2 little stabby blades, and I'm having a great fucking time with it because some of the abilities are incredible. For instance, you walk in, you can set fire to your blades. Brilliant.
Yeah. Bastards, aren't there?
There's a move you can do which turns you into like a version of Sonic the Hedgehog. You like jump up and like spin forward. It's great against big bosses. You just fucking damage them through. One of my pawns keeps giving me ice weapons, so I keep freezing enemies, which is great. The pawn system was brought in the original game and it's been expanded here. That basically when you create your character, you create your main pawn.
PAWN.
PAWN, yes.
We never know in an RPG these days, do you?
Yeah.
The porno system.
After Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, true.
It's true, mate.
There's in the fiction of the game, there are these creatures called pawns. They're kind of humanoid. They're kind of humans, but they're not human. They're like soulless humans who live beyond the rift. And they can
thralls, aren't they?
Yeah, they can be brought from the rift into the real world, and some of them do exist in the real world. But the Arisen is someone who can actually just pick one out who specifically, rather than them just kind of coming across the planes.
Unashamedly obedient towards the Arisen.
Yeah.
They would let the Arisen pick them up and throw them into the ocean.
Yes, which I've done a few times. One pissed me off.
Yes. Best way to get rid of them.
Yeah, absolutely. They basically allow you to build whatever party works around your skills. So unlike a game like Baldur's Gate or Final Fantasy, whatever, where you have set characters that you have, these ones are all more generic characters, but they are built by somebody else and they're leveled up by somebody else. and then you can you go into the rift and you see like hundreds of them appear around you, and you can go through and find the specific one that fits your build,
like a teddy picker,
and fits your class. So like at the minute, so I'm a thief. I have my main pawn who is a sword and board warrior. I have a mage who specializes in healing and buffing, so he's like constantly giving me ice weapons. He's constantly setting fire to my main pawn sword, and then putting healing out. And then I've got an archer who has explosive arrows, and he's a good boy. I like him a lot.
You get attached to them, don't you?
You do, but when
because they do talk to you while you're walking around a lot.
There is a fucking great one that a lot of fucking anti-woke people got pissed off at. So, if you one of the like random banter things that because the pawns will talk to each other rather than just talking to you
all the fucking time,
all the time. If you have a party of all male pawns, there is a set of lines where it comes out and says, "I see the Arisen has a party that is all male. I wonder if that speaks to his preference."
Yes,
and the right wingers who are playing this game have gone fucking nuts. I'm not gay. I didn't pick men because I'm gay. Men are just better in these games.
I had a Beastron pawn. Do you know it's the Beastron is the second race in this? They're the beast people. Race. Yeah, the cat people. They're so good. And one of the Beastrons walked around and went, "At least I know the Arisen is not a racist."
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm not actually." Well done. Well observed.
So when I did my first change of my party, I swapped out one of the male pawns for a female pawn. And my Arisen, I play a female character. And as I'm running around, she says, "Oh, you're adventuring with two male pawns. Having fun, are we?"
They're good, aren't they? Good.
Yeah, it's great fun. The voice acting is brilliant. The graphics are fantastic. The frame rate is dog shit, but the music is great. The combat, when you actually get into the meaty combat, like at first it seems really basic. It's just like, you just like rapidly pressing square to keep hitting. But then as you start unlocking abilities, like things start kind of escalating really quickly. So like I say, like my thief has got this like spin buzzsaw ability, or I can set my blades on fire, or I can ensnare enemies, so I can I can like throw ropes up and kind of pull flying enemies down, or like I can like hold onto enemies for like pawns or random NPCs, because random NPCs will join your fights as well.
Yeah, and you can't hurt them.
No, you can't hurt them. There's no friendly fire.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
It's honestly like I had high hopes for it because I really liked the first Dragon's Dogma, but it's so much better than I thought it would be.
It's good, isn't it? Let me tell you my little anecdote. So I'm a bit further than Gadget. I main it as a spear mage hand. It's called something like that. So I'm basically a Jedi with dual lightsabers, and I can pick enemies up and throw them off cliffs with my mind. But the anecdote I've got is what Stig mentioned earlier before we move on, is Dragon COVID is in this. So
yes.
And it's not a spoiler. It's mentioned in the trailer. It's mentioned in the tutorials and stuff like that. So, yes, the Arisen has the opportunity to pull out pawns at his whim, at her whim, whenever they want to. There is a consequence to that. There is Dragon COVID. It's got a real name. I just call it Dragon COVID. Dragon Scourge. I think it's called Dragon Scourge.
Yeah, Dragon Scourge.
So it's basically an STD. So if you keep swapping pawns, if you keep doing this, if you keep getting too many, the game will throw an infected pawn at you, and you won't know for days upon days upon days. And every so often, one of your pawns will just say something so out of character. You'll be like, maybe we should just kill the town. And you're like, what? What? And you just think nothing of it. And then you look at your pawn at the campfire, and he's got fucking glowing red eyes. Like, what's happened to you? What's happened to you? And if a few more days, if you just ignore it, you don't know anything about it, you go to sleep at an inn or something, you wake up to a cutscene, and that pawn has massacred the entire town, and you are now blacklisted from all quests in that town, including main quests, including anything you can basically stop your progression of the game because you failed not to get rid of the STD, the Dragon COVID, the disease, by not observing and mistreating your pawn. There is only one current known way to stop this happening. Either let that pawn pass it on to a different pawn, or toss him into the sea.
Let the brine deal with him.
Let the brine, because you can't swim in this. You have to kill them.
Yeah, there is a weird monster in the water that just like eats you with tentacles wherever you are.
So they didn't want to put a swimming mechanic in this game.
No, clearly.
So you have to kill them, and it systematically has changed. I'm mid to late game now. It's systematically changed how I play this game now. It is probably the most fascinating aspect of this game. Like Stig says, the consequences, the actions. It can change how quests happen and how NPCs talk to you if they notice someone's got dragon COVID. They'll go, something wrong with your friend there, and you'll turn around and they've got glowing red eyes and they're shaking, and it's like The Thing.
Yeah.
You don't know who's got it until it's too fucking late. And it's genius. Like, you can literally lock yourself out of main quest storylines. The only way to recover that is by submitting to the town and going to prison for in-game years and coming out, and you've missed all your timed quests, but you can get back into your main story quest. There is consequences. You lose your money, and it's so fucking good.
It's
like, people are moaning, saying, I hate this, why can't you just not let me... Stop abusing the systems.
It's actually really hardcore as well. Like, you can't... Fast traveling, you either need to use a rift stone to take you back to a certain place. You can drop like teleportation points down, but you only have 10 of them. Or you use an ox cart to go between cities, but they only travel during the day, so it takes a while. But I haven't used any of them yet. I just quite enjoy bimbling about and just running back and forth.
It's the best way to level up, mate. It's the best way to level up.
If you want to rest out in the field, you've got to have a camping kit with you, which they're heavy. So if you're playing I'm playing a light character, I can't carry a fucking 7 kilogram camping kit with us.
Yeah, you've got to carry food. It's super special. It's a survival RPG, isn't it?
If you pick up kind of fruit as you're going along, like it spoils after a couple of days if you don't eat it.
Yeah, if you sleep. Yeah.
Also, when you take too much damage, like your health bar gets. Like, the amount of health you can have gets smaller until you, like, have a rest overnight.
Have a rest.
It's a little bit D&D like. You know, you get exhaustion, you get injuries. Like, it is really fucking hardcore. And it took... Again, when I was playing Archer, I wasn't enjoying it because I was, like, really... I wasn't engaging with the mechanics. As soon as I swapped to Thief and I kind of got into the move set and I got into the idea of it, the game just opened up for me, and it's fucking brilliant. I love it so much.
You know the fucked up thing how I unlocked the mage spear hand? I saw this one guy, this NPC fighting this thing, and I was like, what the fucking hell moves that? He's floating about. And I spoke to him, and he went, do you want to do it? I'm like, yes. And he just gave me the vocation, like, you can have it.
Nice.
Like, I'm a fucking Jedi now. Brilliant.
I need to find that NPC.
Yeah, you do, mate. He's just floating about. Like, it's not on the main quest or anything. You just skipped it completely. But yeah, it's a genius game. I don't want to go on too long because we've already abused our time, Gadget.
Yes,
abused
we have.
it. Stig.
Okay. I've been to the cinema 3 times in 5 days this week.
You've got disease. You've got dragon COVID.
Cinema COVID.
Open your eyes. Let me have a look at your eyes. They're red, then. They're glowing red. It's shaking.
Yeah, it's just because of all the films I've been watching. I've done that. Not only have I done that, I've watched all 3 extended editions of Lord of the Rings this week.
Yeah, but that's just like breathing oxygen, isn't it?
I know, but like I've managed to get them in on top of the cinema trips.
Good lad. Good lad.
So, I'll talk about them. Firstly, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. This is the follow-up to Ghostbusters Afterlife. It sees the Spenglers and Gary, and they've moved into New York City, and they're ghostbusting in New York City now. It's not very good.
that was. I could taste that. Shit.
So I love Ghostbusters 1. I like Ghostbusters 2 for all its faults. And I really liked Afterlife. I know
I did.
It kind of hit the right level of fan service and nostalgia that I wanted, whilst also introducing some new characters that I really like. I really like Phoebe. Like, she's a really interesting and fun character. And she works well with Carrie Coon's character and Paul Rudd's. So I was kind of looking forward to more of them and their story progressing. Doesn't really do that. She's just like angsty teenager now.
Happens to us all.
Yeah, and Carrie Coon doesn't really get a lot to do. Finn Wolfhard doesn't get a lot to do other than so Carrie Coon and Paul Rudd, they're mainly just there for to be the foil to an angsty teenager. and Finn Wolfhard is just dealing with fan service, or he's got to go deal with Slimer because Slimer's causing issues.
Oh, not again, Slimer.
Yeah,
Bloody Slimer.
You bugger.
It's just too messy. There's too many things going on. There's too many characters. There's too many.
I think the
plots,
trailer looks
strands.
shit, to be honest.
There is. So you've got the characters of Podcast and Lucky from the previous film who are in this. They don't need to be in this. They don't serve any purpose to the film other than here's some characters from the last film who are also in this one.
Hey! He's called Podcast. Do you know why?
Yeah.
He does a podcast.
Camille Nanjiani. I always can't get his name wrong.
Camille Nanjiani,
That's the guy. He's in
the
it, but
buff Asian prince.
he's all right. I don't think he's really. It would have been better if they'd have got rid of a lot of other characters and just focused on him with the family.
I
But,
always like him when he's in things.
yeah. The original kind of crew don't really serve a purpose anymore. The only one that really kind of works in this world is Ray, because Ray's always been fascinated with the afterlife,
Ghosts.
and
Yeah.
and you could completely.
He also got a blowjob off a ghost.
Yeah, but you could completely see him 40 years down the line still being obsessed with this.
Chasing that blowjob.
Whereas somehow now Winston is an entrepreneur and millionaire who funds
Mr.
the
Zedmar.
who funds the Ghostbusters and has a secret underground layer full of like new technology. James Acaster is in this. He's completely wasted. Like he's not
Why is
that
he in
funny.
that?
Why? Yeah, why is he in a Hollywood film?
He's just been cast in it, but he's just not very funny, which is just very
Are they
un-James
trying to
Acaster.
do? Is he trying to be the next Richard Ayoade, where he kind of breaks Hollywood for a year?
I think so, yeah, because he's in something else as well coming up.
Because Ayoade didn't last long in Hollywood, did he?
But yeah, there's all this shit going on, and it's just too much, and it's just messy, and it's just like it's not focused at all, and it's still just relying on fan service and nostalgia, which is perfectly fine when you wanted to kind of after the 2016 film where everyone kind of turned against it. For me, it wasn't that there was a female Ghostbusters. I couldn't really care less because I actually quite like some of the actors in that film. It's just a really shit film,
Chris Hemsworth's best thing in that.
and they needed to get people back on track. How do we do that? Fan service, bring back the original cast, introduce new characters. Right, now what do we do?
Do you know what the last film did really well? It took a while for it to be the original cast. It took a while. You spent time with these new people. I thought they did well. It had the Stranger Things vibes. It was good. I
Yeah,
really
that's
liked it.
kind of what I wanted from this, like pushing that stuff away and going with the new stuff. And they just don't trust. They don't trust themselves to do it, and it's just a mess.
They don't trust cinema goers. I think a lot of these Hollywood execs, they don't trust cinema goers enough to enjoy something a little bit new and different, especially since that second Star Wars sequel.
Yeah, Last
film.
Jedi.
They were like, don't do anything different ever again. Don't fucking bother.
So yeah, disappointment for me on that one.
It's a shame.
Second
But
film,
you did watch a really good one, didn't you, eventually?
So second film, Immaculate. This is a new film with starring Sydney Sweeney. It's about Cecilia, who is an American nun who travels over to Italy
She's
and
so ugly.
joins a convent there. And while she's there, she becomes pregnant.
Oh, tat.
She has an immaculate conception. She has never been touched by a man. They confirm this. Even the doctor confirms that
I've seen her in Euphoria. She has.
her hymen is still intact, and I'm pushing through, and
That's what the doctor did.
Because he's seen it 900 times as well.
you can imagine what a nun suddenly becoming pregnant.
Yeah,
do to,
Mary, innit?
Yeah,
Virgin Mary.
so she's there. This whole convent is about it's old young nuns looking after old nuns. These nuns have served their time in the church, and they're either ill or dying. And
End
this
of
is
life
like
care.
End of life care. This is what the service is. So yeah, they obviously start to become obsessed with her, and as the film goes on, obviously nefarious things have been going on. It gets a bit spooky, it gets a bit dark, it gets a bit traumatic. First half is kind of relying on your typical horror tropes, quiet things going on, then bang, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Second half is where it really picks up, and it starts to get a bit like, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. It starts to get weird and creepy. I really like this. I do wish that it had lent more into the weirdness and cultishness of it a bit more. But the imagery in it is incredible, because obviously you can imagine all that in Catholicism and crosses everywhere.
Catholicism, wow.
Yeah, and when there's she's dressed up as like the Virgin Mary and everything, like it looks amazing.
There's no like singing like Sister Act?
No, but the singing is obviously like nuns singing like
Gregorian choirs.
Yeah, and so the use of sound is incredible. So not only have we got like a really like, kind of haunting sounds in the background, you've got the chanting and the singing from the nuns constantly going on. So like the use of sound and imagery, and it's really, really good. Second half, I say, when it picks up, the ending is fucking great. And there's, that scene with Florence Pugh in all the flowers, and it's now become like a meme and a really recognizable moment. There's a moment in this film with her, like she's really good. Like,
okay.
Yeah, so she's really, really solid in this. Like, it's a really good film for me. I enjoyed it. I just wish it had ramped up on the weirdness a little bit more. It could. Yeah. And finally,
your favourite film of the week?
I'm going to go Gadget and Biggie on Fast and Furious mode here. Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire.
Oh, I've been waiting for this all week.
What a load of shit. I've been getting some shit on TikTok about this because I obviously, like I've said before, I've kind of started doing reviews and talking about.
He's upset the Kong Bros.
I've upset the Kong Bros. This is the first kind of really negative. I'm not surprised people do rage bait videos because
a lot of engagement.
I've never had so much engagement. And like all the other videos I've done where I've praised the film, I thought this is amazing. Talk about this film.
He's had his dick out on some and no one's cared.
People just do not care.
This.
But I have had some shit about Godzilla X Kong. Just plenty of people just moaning at me for not liking it. It's fine. I'm allowed to not like films. You're allowed to like a film. If you enjoy it, fine. I didn't. I struggled with it the whole way through.
There was a weird amount of people in your comments defending the film.
Yeah. Anyone who comes into my comments and starts the sentence with "bro," I'm not interested.
Spider-Man, bro.
Yeah. I like to
how old
on
did they
there.
say that you were?
Some guy said I was pushing 50, talking about a kids' film, and I was never been so insulted in my life.
My alternate account worked.
I was like, yeah, I'm like older than probably the target audience, but 50? Fuck off, mate. Anyway.
What was it like in Vietnam, Stig?
Back to the film. This franchise has gone completely Fast and Furious. I know Godzilla versus Kong started to go that way, but it is gone.
They're in space now, guys.
So it is practically the Hollow
May
Earth.
as well be.
The Hollow Earth may as well be space.
Yeah, I watched it on the last one. It was fucking shit.
It was terrible.
I just struggled from the get-go. I think CGI is not very good at all. It's weightless. And when I said in my review, it doesn't seem real, and people are like, oh, it's a big lizard and big Kong, of course it's not going to be real. That's not what I mean by real. I mean, they don't look like they should be there. Like, they don't...
I've seen...
The backdrops are all great. Kong looks pretty great, and Godzilla looks great. Everything else around, there's one point where Kong's like eating this thing that he's caught, and I'm looking at it going, that doesn't look real. That meat on the floor next to him doesn't look like it should be there. That's what I mean when I say not real.
I've seen a clip from the trailer when kind of baby Kong jumps up into the screen, and it's supposed to be the big reveal.
It's a baby Kong.
Yeah, and he looks like a video game character. Like, he doesn't look like he fits in the world.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say real. When I say it doesn't look real, it's not about it trying to be realistic in terms of these aren't realistic creatures. I mean, Kong is based on a gorilla, so he kind of can be realistic looking, but it just gets it's so stupid. It's so bogged down in its own mythology. There's all this other
Western Godzilla and they don't understand that creature at all, do they?
And this is my problem. People are like, oh, no one goes to see it because they're human characters, and I know I can't compare some Godzilla -1 because they're treating Godzilla
Shin Godzilla
those films treat Godzilla in a completely different manner, and they show
reverence, innit?
The human side and the bureaucracy of what goes on behind a Godzilla attack. I'm so bored of let's just throw everything at each other in places like Cairo and Rome and Rio de Janeiro. Let's destroy all these monuments because it looks cool.
They better not have got Christ the Redeemer, not on Easter.
let's just pick up this building and throw it at people. And I'm not like going, there's people inside there, and I know that's not the point of this.
Kong's murdered millions.
Yeah, the other Kong's enemy, the other big monkey in this, just throws
another big monkey.
Oh, he just throws a building at Kong, and Kong punches through it. I'm just thinking, oh, that's people. Like, but you don't see any of that, and that's kind of. I know that's not what these films are about. These films are about big smashy monsters smashing into each other. You can do that. Just set it in the Hollow Earth. Just keep it all in the Hollow Earth. The problem is and I'm trying to avoid getting spoilery here. They end up back in the real world because of something going on in the Hollow Earth. It's just something for the human characters to do. It's like we have nothing to do while Kong and Godzilla fight these other monsters. So we have something for the human characters to do. Yeah, we have something for the human characters to do. It's just convoluted mess. It's all this mythology and bullshit. And I just found it so shit. And also, this is a Kong film. Godzilla is barely in this film. Take Godzilla out of this film, and it's the same fucking film.
How do they still get away with, because this is the same Godzilla from the Monarch universe and stuff like that. And in that, he's so big, but they make Kong so big in this. I don't understand how
now they're running around. Like Godzilla runs around. Godzilla
couldn't. If you remember that scene in San Francisco, the original Godzilla, when it lands its foot, and you can't even see it through clouds.
That was
you get none of that anymore.
I said it's turned into the Fast and Furious, where like Dom is like practically a superhero now.
Yeah,
is that Kong now?
That's what Kong and
Kong
Godzilla
Toretto.
Well, there's a pod title. It's actually really weird because I watched Fast X this week for Too Fast Too Curious.
Don't spoil how you think about it.
No, I'm not going to. But they
loved it.
There is a moment in that where like a big city destroying thing kind of happens, and there are narrative consequences for the characters, and it feels weird to me. Like Stig's talking about it, like, is a Fast and Furious film better written than a King Kong film?
Yeah, so it's just crap. Like, it's just so convoluted. I just
it'll still sell millions, though, won't it?
I
hate
it,
go see it
every second of it. And there was a TikTok account I followed does like movie reviews, and he was saying he didn't like it, and people were like, oh, you just don't like fun, you just don't like, you're boring. Like, this film was amazing, it was great.
Don't like apes.
And it's like what you said about how can it go from that Godzilla to this Godzilla? Like, the transition makes no sense.
I don't know how they've done it. Between one film, it's just completely changed that. And I'm going to say it, character. Because Godzilla's a character. They've changed the character.
Genuinely would have enjoyed just a completely dialogue-free Kong film. Because Kong feels...
you can do that.
Kong feels like a character in this because he emotes. And he has facial expressions. And he kind of...
human-looking eyes and stuff.
You spend a lot of time with Kong away from the humans. And he emotes with his eyes and his face. So you could do that. But you don't. You have all these human characters. You have Rebecca Hall, who is exposition. All exposition. We have to tell the audience what's going on. You have Dan Stevens. He's cringy as fuck. Everything he does has this musical sting, but it's not good music. It's just kind of a jackbox.
Never really liked Dan Stevens.
A jukebox of like, let's just stick this song on. Let's just stick that song on. Brian Tyree Henry, not funny. He's meant to be there for the comic relief. He's the character. He was in the previous film as that like conspiracist theory.
He went into the train that can get from New York to Hong Kong in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Not a single laugh in the film. The biggest laugh in the film was a moment involving Kong and the baby Kong. The guy who's cracking the jokes throughout the whole film didn't get any. Oh, it's just, and her daughter, Rebecca Hall's daughter, in this has got some kind of special magical power now, and it's just like.
So you loved it then, yeah?
Yeah, great. But yeah, I was just saying one thing that the guy that I was talking about on TikTok, he said one of the biggest problems now is Kong and Godzilla just feel like they don't feel massive anymore. The scale is lost.
Yeah.
The scale is lost with the especially with the Hollow Earth. He said it feels like two just 6'5" guys battering stuff like that.
Which he wasn't in the Godzilla reboot.
It's weightless. They don't.
It was bigger than the Golden Gate Bridge, for fuck's sake.
There's nothing great about it, and it's not about not liking fun, because you can make these brainless popcorn films and still make them good. There is plenty of kaiju films that are really good fun that that explore smashing the shit out of things while also exploring other things. Pacific Rim is one. Kong Skull Island actually is really good.
Skull Island's great. And Godzilla King of the Monsters isn't a dumpster fire. There's got some good fights.
Dull.
It's got some good fights though with King Ghidorah and stuff.
I saw
like that.
Godzilla vs Kong was the first film I went to see back at the cinema after like the pandemic was over, quote unquote.
It's not a good first one to see, is it?
It was on, and I wanted to go to the cinema.
Yeah.
But like my criticism of that was the scale got messed up because you've got
Kong and Godzilla aren't the same size.
They're not the same size. Like Kong is supposed to be able to hang off the Empire State Building.
And
Godzilla is supposed to be the
size. Pick up a woman in his hand.
Yeah, Godzilla is supposed to be the size of the Empire State Building.
Yeah,
and it was something that like just didn't sit well with me. The other thing
they
is
keep downsizing them and upscaling them all the time. It just swaps and changes.
Yeah, the other thing that's not sitting well with me. I've just looked at what Godzilla X Kong has done in its opening weekend. It's only
80 million.
It's 80 million. Dune Part 2 did 81 million. It's a million. It's at the same level as Dune Part 2.
Because it's just easy fodder.
I know.
Like, you look
and
at the
it's come
comments,
out at Easter when everyone's off school.
It's come out at the right time. It's easy fodder.
Kids can go see it.
I just hated it, and I'm not someone that just I'm going to watch this.
My son asked me this week, can we go to see Godzilla Kong at cinema for Easter weekend? I went, if I'm going to cinema, mate, I'm off to see June 2, so no.
Yeah, like I only went because I got it free, obviously. And
give us your last line. Give us your last line from your TikTok video because it's a good line.
Oh, I prefer Roland Emmerich's Godzilla.
Oh,
brave.
Think about that.
Still hurts.
Brave.
This is the worst one.
Going deeper underground.
Oh, the better soundtrack as well.
Though. Absolute banger.
Right, enough of that. Candy, you've been doing out like that, out to this scale.
Well, I have had a busy week actually. To be fair, maybe not to that scale. To start with, I will say that I have finished Final Fantasy Rebirth.
Without saying it, that ending though, huh?
I've got a bit of a moan. Little bit of a moan. And I'm not going to go into spoilers.
Is this the moan that you had at me?
I will get into that. But no, that's not the only moan. And I will say this with the proviso that I really enjoyed this game. I loved it. I thought it was better than Remake. I thought it was just an absolutely fantastic game that got a little bit worse as it went along. The majority of the game, I'd say a good 85%, for me was probably a 10. I will
to a
say
9
that
by the end.
maybe even a little less. I think that in hindsight, maybe it was a case of moving from set piece to set piece quite quickly.
The ending's rushed.
The ending is somehow rushed and somehow such a slog at the same time. Like there's the moment where it says, you know, if you go beyond this point, you can't come back. Blah,
That's
blah,
it.
blah.
Yeah.
2 hours away, maybe an hour away, I think. No. The final part is, oh my God, it goes on and on and on. And it keeps rewinding to certain other characters reliving this particular moment.
I think the revelations are fucking transcendent. Though.
It was clever how they did
I
it.
really loved it.
I think some points in the story where maybe some of the impact was taken away a little bit. And then there came the final boss. Several phases, probably about 42.
Isn't it emotional?
It is. It was very emotional for me because on the final stage of 42 stages of final boss,
You died.
I died. Now there comes up a menu when you die.
Mm-hmm.
Continue from last battle. Continue from before the point of the last battle. Continue from several points before the last battle. I thought, right, continue from this battle. No, I selected. I was there. I was umming and ahhing for about 20 minutes. I texted Gadget. I was like, what do I do here? Because I don't want to go back. I'm not playing it on hard, but I'm playing it on normal. That's a lot of gameplay I've been through.
Like the instinctual thing would be, continue from this battle.
Continue from this battle. Nope. It sent me back about 5 phases. One of the phases, you'll probably remember, Oodles, is the one where you have to, with the hands.
Yep. The
puzzle
one
boss bit. The one that took me a while to
figure out.
click. Yeah.
Because you're a
Dingbat.
Dingbat.
I know. Dingbat.
Yeah.
Yep. Dingbat.
dingbat. I didn't die, but I can imagine that being very annoying.
It was extremely
Because
infuriating.
I'm an elite pro gamer, 24.
Well,
2024.
this is it. And that is what knocked it off a 9, which was previously a 10, to a strong 8.5 to me.
Who did you go on a date with?
Barrett.
Yes, girl!
Barrett.
Yeah.
I did not know that was an option. And it said, I thought my relationships with everyone else were pretty good. But no, Barrett. And it was very tender, actually. It was a lovely date.
He does
Is he a
reveal a lot,
gentle
doesn't
lover?
he?
He is a gentle lover. He's got some sound
Yeah.
advice. He kisses you gently on the forehead. But no, I did really enjoy the game, and I'm
I had
glad I
a date
played
with
it. and,
Vincent somehow.
Yeah. Do you know what? As well as
Probably
you
the closest
said that
I'll ever
Vincent's
get
in
to
it, so
dating Matthew Mercer.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
So I
know
had a
how
date
you
with-
would, because Vincent is, for them to introduce Vincent
Very early on, isn't it? Very late on, sorry.
Yeah, and he doesn't get
Maybe I
much
just
to
weren't
do.
making friends with anybody.
Yeah. For him to have he's such a beloved character, isn't he, Vincent? And he's got maybe a handful of lines in the entire game. So he was sort of woefully unused and not a playable
It
character.
wasn't the original game.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, you could miss him completely as well. And that's
He's
leads
certainly
me
not
on
unused
to-
in Dirge Cerberus, is he, Gadget?
Ugh, don't remind me of that game. It's shit. It is a
One
dirge.
character that I do wish that you could miss was Yuffie. My God, I wanted to murder
But
her.
she's so cool to play as, but she doesn't shut up.
No, she's not cool to play as. She's
She's got some of the best moves.
No, I can't.
You didn't enjoy her synergy moves and her element magic.
No, I didn't care. I just find her so annoying. I gave her no equipment, no nothing. I was like, just die. Just
She's
fuck off and
15,
die.
mate. Leave her alone.
I don't care. No,
15-year-olds are dicks anyway.
mega
Yeah,
dicks.
yeah, actually. She's a chav. She's a chav. That's what she is.
So yeah, loved it. Little bit feel like they fluffed the end a little bit.
But the
For
ending
me.
to remake is the worst bit of remake as well.
Well,
yeah,
that's
just
it's why
fucking
they go
build
off the
that up
beat.
for us.
No, but it's because remember, it's Tetsuya Nomura and Kingdom Hearts. Anyone? The same guy who creates these things.
And to be fair, in this, he has been good. You can tell that
Did
someone's
you ever
been like,
see
no.
the ending to Kingdom Hearts 2?
Yes, I did. But they were like, no, Tetsura,
I
just
wasn't
try
aware
and
that
stay on
Kingdom
track a
Hearts
bit.
2 ever ended.
Oh, it ended.
It was a
Oh, it
fucking
ended.
long, tedious slog.
Organization 13.
Oh, stop. No, I hate it.
Put Sora in the bin.
Yeah, but no, I think they have reined him in. They've got the ruler over his knuckles when he starts to go a bit too mad. But they still let him go a little bit mad to the point to its detriment, I think. Yeah, I think the last 10% of both the games where they've gone off the beaten track a little bit. But I understand why. I mean, they need to keep it new and exciting to people that didn't
They have
play
to
the
make
original.
up bits as well because there isn't a final boss at that moment in the game.
Well, exactly.
So they have to make up this false. That's what they did in remake as well. This false, urgency. This false last boss in a game that doesn't have the last boss there. So it's insurmountable odds to nail it, and I don't think they ever will. Apart from in this third version, that's clearly going to be called Reunion.
I think so. I think you would think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's going to be the proper ending to this. This game's going to be a 10 when all three parts are in one thing.
I agree, and I do regret not having played Remake again directly before, and I think before the next one comes
as one
out...
cohesive thing,
Yeah.
it's going to make sense. It's going to build on itself. It's going to be fantastic because the combat system is next fucking level.
It's perfect. There's nothing with the gameplay, nothing needs to change. Story... But again, I was saying...
What about catching the Moogles?
There are quite a few side quests. I'm sorry, Mrs. Hen. You're going to have to collect your fucking chickens by yourself, love. I'm busy.
Shite.
Oh, Queen's Blood as well. But, yeah, no, I can understand why they've made the changes that they have. Not that it's a change to the story per se, but it's a maybe different take on it. But it keeps it exciting for the people that played it originally, and it keeps it true enough to the original. In my opinion, it didn't change the story as much as I expected it to.
Not till the last few hours.
Yeah. And even it's debatable how much they did change.
Yeah, yeah. With the conclusion you get in that, it's like, has it changed? As much as I'm saying.
I'll talk to you privately.
Yes, you shall.
But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it with a couple of little gripes, but
Yeah.
play it because it's great. I actually just downloaded what is it? Not Dirge of Cerberus, Crisis Core.
Crisis
So
Core,
good.
the new version of that, the remaster, is fucking brilliant. It's fucking
Actually,
brilliant.
it might be worth playing that. If you haven't played Rebirth yet, it might be worth playing that, I think, potentially before playing
Yeah,
Rebirth.
there's a lot of Zach.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on from Final Fantasy VII, because that wasn't actually my main.
You turned it
watched-
into it.
Turned it into my main. I'll be quick with this one, because you talked about it in the green room. I watched Roadhouse. Roadhouse.
Isn't it sexy?
I really enjoyed it. You
I
knew I was
too.
going to say it, didn't you? You knew I was going to say it.
I didn't
enjoyed
love it. I just really liked it.
It was fun. It was fun.
And everyone
it was...
hates it. Everyone fucking hates it online.
Do you know what I think the issue is? I think that the trouble is that
Conor McGregor. That's the issue.
Where the
quite
fuck
like
is
Conor
everyone?
Where the fuck is everyone?
But he makes up for it with
awful.
his ass.
Yeah, he's
He is an ass.
canny little ass, ain't he?
Oh, I need a tight little thing. I think the trouble was it is turning tongue in cheek, but it's so dry that
It is a comedy, isn't it?
yeah, I don't think everyone would necessarily. I think maybe Brits would understand more that it is tongue in cheek than Americans.
Yes.
because it's
I
got
think
that
it's
very
taking
kind
the
of
piss
dry.
It's taking the piss out of Americana in a way.
Yeah, and it
American
has
Dream.
got a very dry sense of humor. Like if you were going into it thinking, I can understand why people think it would be like a crap kind of hero's journey.
Yeah, yeah. But
But
it's more. This hero is fucking broken.
Yeah, and a guy gets eaten by a crocodile. I mean,
Yeah,
this
he
guy, like,
does.
he gets away with everything. Like, he's straight up murdered people. And
Murders people.
Just like, I mean, I guess in the end of the original Roadhouse, he's like, the police chief's like, yeah, go and fuck off quick.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
cause quite as much damage as the new one. Like, there's murders, there's...
I think in the original, Swayze just to watch that recently again. Swayze just tries to ooze some sex appeal and do a lot of roundhouse kicks. In this, it's an MMA film.
Yes.
That's the difference.
So, I'm going to spoil a little bit because I don't think anyone cares that much about spoilers for Roadhouse.
There's barely a plot,
Apologies.
guys.
Apologies if you do. So, Dalton, the main character, is an ex-MMA fighter, and it turns out that he has stopped MMA fighting because he got carried away, and after knocking out a guy and clearly having won, he carries on smacking him in the head, which obviously like smashes his skull and kills him. And it's alluded to that this guy was his friend in the first place, and there's obviously this big backstory. I don't know whether it got cut out, but there was no explanation about why he carried on and killed this guy. Like I was expecting this
nothing
big...
in there.
Do you know what? In my mind, it came out like it would have turned out that he was a nonce, or this guy like he'd raped somebody. Or there was a
Oh, fuck
reason
his
why.
wife.
Yeah, there was a reason he continued to crack his skull. No,
He does mention it slightly in passing where once he sees red, once he's been hit too many times, he can't
Yeah, but
stop
that's
himself.
not. That's
It's not
yeah,
enough,
but
is
that's
it? It's
an
not
excuse,
enough.
though, is it? He would have been in
No, it's
jail.
not. He's
There's
so
no
pretty,
no
though,
reason
isn't
for
it?
him to
It's
do
really
what he
pretty
did.
though.
Oh, he's so pretty, and there's just funny moments, and it's just ridiculous. Like if you're going to watch it, don't read too much into the story. You're not supposed to.
There isn't a story. It's just a wrestling film.
It's just people fighting.
The original film wasn't known for its Shakespeare-like qualities.
No, I don't think that critically reviewed very well anyway in the first place, did it? It wasn't like a darling. It's more of a what do they call it?
It was more women of a certain age drooling over Patrick Swayze with his shirt open.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Watching
Yeah.
it now at 28 years old, I
You
am
have reached that
crazy.
certain age.
I have
Swayze
reached that
was
particular
stupidly good looking, weren't he?
crazy for Swayze. My God.
Yeah, he was stupid good looking.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I like Roadhouse. Fuck 'em, Candy. Me and you were on Team Roadhouse.
Exactly. Yeah, Team Roadhouse. I've got two more. I'll do it in the green room though.
Fantastic, fantastic. Speaking of our little Team Roadhouse listeners, what have they been doing? What have they been up to?
So Mike Holstead has said more Law and Order SVU this week. and then rewatching Lucifer, which is really fun if none of you have seen it.
Is it worth it, that one? It's the
is fun.
piano playing devil, isn't it? It's Lucifer from DC, isn't it?
It's tangentially, yes, but not quite.
It's proper Lucifer Morningstar, though, isn't it? From DC.
Yeah.
That's real and stuff.
I know,
like that.
I know Pip fucking hates it. So I mean,
Oh, really?
it might be good then. He also said, started listening to the audiobook of Rendezvous with Rama, which I'm enjoying so far.
My man.
Gaming-wise, I've reinstalled Fallout 4 and started it from scratch. I think I've already
good.
found new areas that I didn't find the first time I played it.
I've never fully searched that map. That's a big map.
I've done it on one of my playthroughs. I've like proper 100%ed it.
Big old map, that one.
Yeah. And there's a lot to do in it. There's a lot of repetitive stuff to do in it.
I barely explored that contaminated zone at the bottom.
Well, the
it's
glowing
fun in
sea,
there.
there's some great shit.
I just
in there.
did that mission that you have to go for and then
Yeah,
got out
when
of
you
there.
have to, when you have to go to see.
But is
Oh, shit,
there
what's
more
his
to actually see there? Because it's a massive...
Yeah, there's loads.
There's
isn't it?
loads. There's loads there. Oh, it's so much fun. Go after you've played the game, though, because you're not going to be strong enough to withstand those rads otherwise.
I didn't even do Far Harbour or any of those either.
Far Harbour.
Far Harbour's great.
Far Harbour is like Fallout 4's equivalent of the Pit. Like, it's that good a DLC. It's really fucking good. Lots of
And Nuka World was good. I love Nuka World too.
Nuka World was good, but it was like dumb fun. Whereas like Far Harbour,
Where did
had a
they
lot
put
to
that
it.
in the map? Where did they put Nuka World in the map?
So
It's
no,
a
so
separate
it's a separate map. You there's like it adds like a transit station off to the west of the map. Just
Fair enough.
yeah, and you go out there and it's like in the desert and it's a lot of fun. There's some really fucked up monsters in there. Like the Nuka Lurk King is awful.
I wish they'd do a PS5 version of that.
No,
They are, I think.
they are. It's just been delayed a couple of times. They do a next gen upgrade for it.
Brilliant, I'll get that.
Super Natty Cat has said, this week I have continued playing Muff Divers. She means Hell Divers.
She likes calling it that, doesn't she?
Yeah, I'm level 20 now and even more deadly. To the brave Muff Divers who play with me.
She's way past my level now. I haven't played it in about a month.
Yeah, I'm only on level 10, I think.
Level 5 Muff Diver here.
I'm level 21.
I got rid of my PS Plus, so...
She says, I enjoy this.
That's why I bought it on PC. Even though I know it'll look better on the PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to pay for it extra, haven't you?
Yeah.
She says, I enjoy the thrill of harming others accidentally with a grenade launcher. Otherwise, this week I've been listening to old Snow Patrol. I never used to like them, but I'm all over them right now.
Oh, the band. I thought it was a podcast.
No.
The band.
I've also enjoyed...
We were talking about Snow Patrol, me and Kate, the other week, saying, like, it's just one of those that
If
every now and again we'll put it on.
Them guys.
We'll put it on or something, and then just forget about it for months. And then you'll listen to
any of
another
their
song.
other songs.
Yeah, they've got some good songs from the earlier albums.
I don't dislike that song. I think that song's nice.
They have. I think the problem is they're painfully radio. Like, I can't... They like sound like wallpaper to me.
They're not as bad as radio as The Killers, though, are they? The Killers are so radio, it hurts.
Mr. Brightside's a banger.
Yes, but it's overplayed. Nonsense.
Massively so, but it's like an anthem of our generation.
Yes, I suppose.
Anyway, she goes on to say, I've also enjoyed watching Poor Things, but I had to turn it off 30 minutes in when... Okay, this is quite the sentence. When Mo came into the living room, saw a half duck, half pig thing, and Bella spaffing off with a cucumber. He said, what the fuck is
At
this?
the table. She's at the table. What does she call it when she's fingering herself?
What she said?
Pleasuring herself to
No, I get it.
It's got, she names all the sexual acts really funny things.
Fuck, what was it?
Well, while he's working that out, I'll go on and says, I was like, quote, it's called culture, darling. It's won loads of Oscars, end quote. Nevertheless, we turned it off.
Working on myself to get happiness.
That's right.
Fucking hell. I'm not watching this film.
It's great.
It's amazing.
It's so fucking good.
But I just can't.
Not my cup of tea.
Nevertheless, we turned it off.
Good films.
Nevertheless, we turned it off and began the second season of Physical 100, a fitness game show from Korea where fit people from all walks of life and careers go against each other in challenges to find out who can call themselves the greatest physique. Highly recommended, but do not watch the dub version. Fuck you, Super Nightcat. Watch the dub version. It's hilarious.
Watch the dub version. It makes it 10 times better.
So yeah, that's my roundup. Stuarticus has discovered Miss Rachel this week. She's a baby YouTuber, and I think my brain has melted.
Miss Rachel.
Sounds like a dominatrix.
Hire Miss Rachel. Get her down here to the office now. Dum 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 dum. She's here. She's got high heels on. Miss Rachel.
Next up, Mr. Worldwide Planty has said, "Ahoy hoy pals. This week has been a truly mixed bag, but then every week is in my media consumption. For 100 Things We Learned from Film, we watched and talked about the brilliantly stupid, futuristic Manhunt Split Second with Rutger Hauer
So good.
and some bloke out of Taggart. We learned a lot about Transport for London and Charles Manson's Star Sign.
I used to work for Transport for London.
We finally got round to watching Damsel on Netflix, or Fry Hard, as it would be better called. An even better title would have been Cancelled Millie Bobby Brown Netflix Project. Let's just say your subscription hike didn't go on the Dragon special effects. 2 out of 5.
I didn't hate it. Oh, I liked
The
it.
special effects on the dragon were good.
I thought they were all right as well. And she
the one
sounded great.
Yeah, like that's the one thing they put into it.
Yeah, I didn't hate that film at all. I thought it was fun.
What's taken most of our time this week has been Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman TV show on Netflix.
Great show.
Loosely based on the premise of the film of the same name, with a posh bloke is a right naughty geezer growing weed on his estate for all that schlag Ray Winstone. It's much better than I make it sound, as it's riddled with Ritchie's DNA in the style, soundtrack, and dialogue.
Yep.
If the X-Files was...
Like I said, I watched it and I was like, oh, I enjoyed watching that. I've completely forgotten it now. One of those.
If the X-Files was Monster of the Week, then this is Cunt of the Week. Each episode has a different burden for them to deal with. 8 episodes, it's fun use of 7 hours of your time. Anyway, gotta go. I'm off clay pigeon shooting with Vinnie Jones.
Paul! Is that everyone?
Nope. We've got Xenos has said Warframe has had an update this week, so I've been mostly playing that. Our new Warframe...
What? What's got?
Warframe.
Is that tank one?
No, that's War Thunder. No, this is the kind of Destiny-like free MMO shooter game.
Oh, the Dark Sector one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our new Warframe, Dante, that's in Dante's Inferno, and not featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series,
Dante Alighieri.
is a literal wizard who casts spells by writing in his grimoire, including being able to throw owls at people. It's fine, the owls are magic.
Are you saying owls or L's as in the letter?
Owls. O-W-L-S.
Oh, I thought you said elves.
No,
Elves.
Say the word
knows
again.
what he's saying.
Owls.
Can we get subtitles on this podcast?
Fucking Hedwig. He's chucking Hedwig, man.
Deadwig.
Other than that, I've been watching a few of my friends playing Dragon's Dogma 2. I still think the Dragon COVID mechanic is really unpleasant. I don't understand what the benefit of it being there is. But at least the
I've just explained.
But at least the gameplay as a whole looks good. Not picking this up myself for a while. I'll keep an eye on the sales because I've got other things I want to finish before I start on it. Mm-hmm. And last up, as usual, Best Boy Angry Kurt. 2 things to mention this week. Gaming-wise, I ended up picking up Princess Peach Showtime. It's fun and it's been a perfect game to chill with after a long day. It's not taxing in any sense if you're wanting a challenge. It's a bit like the recent Kirby game, in that Peach gets a new ability for each level in the form of a costume, but it's a side-scroller instead and much easier. The standout thing though is that the bosses are surprisingly good and offer a little more challenge, and the animation is really good with some nice set pieces too at the end of levels, even if they're just glorified QuickTime events. Film-wise, I watched a new Netflix film called The Beautiful Game. Unfortunately, this wasn't good. It tells the story of the Homeless World Cup, which is a real tournament that takes place each year and is a 4-a-side, don't know why it's not 5-a-side, football tournament. The film follows the England team's travails at the tournament. There are some nice parts, but the main problem is the main character is an arse, and the other characters make very odd decisions throughout the film, which makes the plot just come across as stupid. One example is how this main character is an arse to them all through the film and even abandons the team for another country near the end of the film. Yet despite that, his England teammates are all cheering him on the last game. It doesn't make any sense. It stars Bill Nighy, and even he isn't very good in this. It looks like he's just doing the minimum necessary to pick up his Netflix check.
Pay his mortgage, baby.
Probably is. He finished off saying, "I've also started 3 Body Problem, but more on that next week."
So good. I loved it. I mentioned it in the Nexus, didn't I, last time?
Yeah,
If you
get that watched.
If you don't know, guys, I watched 3 Body Problem in its entirety. Fucking loved it.
Are all the episodes out now?
Yeah.
Cool.
They all dropped it straight away, day one.
I thought it was a week-on-week thing.
No, it's
Fucking
Netflix.
loved it. Loved it. Cool. Is that everyone? Is that everyone?
That's everyone.
As always, links to all our extracurricular activities are in our show notes and at modernescapism.co.uk. Please consider becoming a patron because very fucking soon, by the time you hear this, will be in April, and April is the launch of Modern Escapism. And you've got all the backlog of the finale to Too Fast, Too Curious. Well, is it the number of the finale? Or
Well, until the next one comes out.
Yeah,
Until the
next
11th
one.
film comes out, I've got so many things to shout about with that film. Fuck
That's
me.
going to be great. The conclusion to what you want from the longest running podcast series of all time.
To be fair, we've suffered for that, Art.
And you got all Kenny Potter to listen to and all the other wonderful things you do, and you get access to his green room and everything like that. There's no point in not being a patron at this point. We know your wages have gone up. Cost of living doesn't exist anymore. Let's pretend. If we pretend, it'll go away. It will go away.
It doesn't cost anything to live anymore.
Not anymore.
Candy's
Everything
made
is
sure
free.
of it.
Give us your money. Give it. I choked
Did you
up
say,
and I got really
did you say,
emotional.
give us your muttony?
I just choked up. No, I had a bubble in me. Do you know when you get them bubbles in your throat?
When you get bubble voice like that.
Yeah. And bubble, it's all these champagne I've been drinking. Give us your money so I can afford more champagne, please. But It's usually the
gone
end of
posh
the
as
show.
oodles.
I'm middle class now. Middle class. Call me Toodles. Yeah, we usually end the show now, but before we do, if you like science, if you like philosophy, this is not the segment for you. It's Candyland.
And now, what's up in Candyland?
Well, I've got a confession to make because this is going to be crap because I forgot about Candyland until we started recording. I know, bum.
Can't believe it. The one job.
But I do have. So whenever we
Tell
record,
us what's
you
in
might.
your brain right now.
Yeah, like,
No,
well, I'm about
no.
to. Because when we're recording, you might, if you watch the YouTube version, you might notice that I sometimes just drift off. Like if I'm sitting there like that,
Maybe
is
do that in person.
there is something going. Well, because that's me. There's something going on in my head. I should probably get tested.
The bouncy ball is going around in a
I
different
hope you
direction.
don't do that when you're working. Just like
She does.
I do. No, I do. Well, no, because I'm still looking, but I
There
definitely
was-
tune out.
When Candy was tattooing me, there was like 2 points throughout the day when I'm talking to her and she just like stops responding.
The
And
body is the body is present.
imagine she's
but
doing
the
a
mind is not.
lightsaber and it's like, I didn't want the lightsaber to be that long.
Why is there a bell end at the top of this lightsaber?
Oh, I do that all the time on purpose. No,
You
there's
don't have to worry about the
I-
hilt of this sword.
They look like
there are
testicles.
moments when I tune out of life, and it happens every half an hour. So I tuned out a little bit whilst we were talking earlier. I can't remember what we were talking
You have to
about.
No
reboot
shit.
yourself.
So I got that song stuck in my head. Do you remember that one called "What's She Gonna Look Like with a Chimney on Her"?
Yep.
What's she gonna look like with a chimney? Well, firstly, did we ever find out what she looks like with a chimney on her?
Like a house.
Okay,
Maybe.
no. Do you imagine her standing up or lying down with a chimney? Because
Is
I
that the
imagine
actual
her.
lyrics, or did we make that up as kids? 'Cause I know the song. Is that
No,
the
Oh,
it's
well,
the
like-
actual lyric.
No, that is the actual lyrics.
Not
That
like
makes
my
no
mother's got my
fucking
money,
sense.
she's got a trombelise.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so it was the Tampere verse featuring Maya, and the title was
Maya,
Feel It.
yeah.
And yeah, first
Oh
verse.
yeah, it sampled Michael Jackson, didn't it?
Yeah, so the first verse is, you got it on the side, a little one night thing. I thought it over, and this time I'll forgive
Mm-hmm.
you. Well, I'm not letting go, but I don't forget I know you made your bed and she was in it. No, no, no. What's she going to look
Yep.
like with a chimney on her?
Okay. Do you want to
That's-
know what? Do you want to know what it means?
Oh, please, yes. Finally.
It's a
After all these
reference.
years.
It's a reference to the Wizard of Oz of what's a witch having a house dropped on them.
Oh, no shit.
That's boring.
That ruined Candyland.
The line
No,
from Urban
no,
Discharge 1996 release, drop a house on that bitch. So they're basically saying the woman is a witch and what's she going to look like with a house on her. when
That's
the-
so fucking clever. That song's just, it's gone into the stratosphere. It's
Why
bigger
not a
than it ever
conservatory
was.
though? Why not like the front room on her? Why
Because
not?
they didn't do that in The Wizard of Oz. She got trapped.
Yeah, but it was a whole house.
Can't you remember the feet that rolled up and went under
Yeah,
the
but the
house?
chimney wasn't on her, was it? It was the whole house.
There was an alternative reading of it that was a chimney was a black eye and domestic violence was what the song was about.
I prefer the Wizard of Oz one.
Wizard
Yeah, I
of Oz,
prefer
for
the Wizard
sure.
of Oz one.
It's more
So
blissful.
Anyway, I've thought of a game, and we'll do a quick round. So
Let's go.
I've thought of a few here that have been mentioned on the podcast. Alternative lyrics. So there's things we've mentioned on the podcast, and it has to be a 2-syllable word. What's she going to look like with a mm-mm on her? So I've got one to start. What's she going to look like with a GameCube on her? Who's next? Gadget next.
Oh shit! No! Oh fuck! I can't.
It's hard, isn't it? It's hard, isn't
What's
it?
she gonna look like with a King Kong on her?
Yeah, that works.
What's she going to look like with a horse punch on her?
What's she
Oodles.
going to look like with a gom jabbar on her?
No, that's too many syllables.
Oh, is it?
What about
What's she going to look like with a... No, I can't say it.
What's she gonna
Penis
look
penis
like
on her. Not in her, on her.
with a Sweeney
On
on
top of her head.
Oh.
Are we back?
Yeah,
That was a long
yep,
one.
Yep.
Oh, you all froze as I went into my sexy one.
Do you have a sexy one? Do it now. Shh.
I said, "What's she gonna look like with a Sweeney on her?"
Delicious. What's she going to look like with a roadhouse on her?
Oh, what's she gonna look like with a Gundam on her?
Oh, let's go! Fucking go!
What's she gonna look like with a Metal Gear on her?
What's she going to look like with a candy on her?
Oh, pretty good, I reckon.
Type that in Pornhub. Go on then, what's the next song?
Oh, I haven't got any more.
So it's a game with one round and we've finished the round.
We've finished.
tell
Yeah,
you
but
what,
I mean,
mate.
our listeners can carry it on in the Discord. We'll start a "What's she gonna look like" channel.
Mate, the people in our Discord
two-
don't
two
listen to
syllab-
this. It's
two
two separate
syllables.
communities. It's two separate communities.
2 syllables. It has to do with the most recent podcast. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you very much, Candy. You, as always, are a universal treasure. Thank you for listening to the podcast. We'll see the patrons in exclusively, freshly cleaned for spring green room. But for everything else, bye!
Minute.
I know.
Do
Well,
you know
yeah,
a
but that's what
a
that's the
fun
software
fact, and Gadget can put this at the end of the podcast if you like. Do you know when men are pissed and they have a wee outside, like somewhere they're not supposed to? It's longest piss of their life.
The steam coming off it as well.
You can't stop, can you, Stig?
No,
Even
if
if a
you-
policeman's behind you.
If you have a wee outside and it's like a nice chilly air, it's like
And you're
you know,
drunk.
drunk, yeah, and it's chilly and it's like the
don't
steam
stop.
comes off it is incredible.
Oh.
You can feel it